What a weekend at the corner of 3rd and King. 3 tight one-run games against the Dodgers, and the Giants won the last 2 in dramatic fashion to go 5 games up in the National League West. Tonight, Matt Cain returns to the rotation up against the Milwaukee Brewers. Cain and the Giants looking for their 3rd straight win next. It's a beautiful night here at the corner of 3rd and King Streets. However, the wind is blowing as usual. The Giants and the Brewers, game 1 of a 3-game series. Hello, everyone. I'm John Miller with my crew call. Welcome to San Francisco Giants baseball. What a weekend it was. The Giants beating the Dodgers 2 out of 3, all tight, tense, one-run games. Now Milwaukee comes in, and this is a team. It's been a long time since the Giants saw them. They opened the year in Milwaukee, and it's a much different team than that one. They were trying to get things put together, and lately they've been one of the hot teams in the league. Matt Cain on the anniversary of his perfect game. 4 years ago, he pitched the perfecto here. He comes back from the disabled list to face this Milwaukee team.
Well, and he's going to have to pitch well because, as you mentioned, this is a different team than the Giants saw on the opening series of this season. They're different in that they have rhythm up and down their lineup. They're a very confident team with the bats. Giants are going to have to score some runs. And why is that a challenge? Well, the last 12 games, the Giants collectively as a group have hit 192. I know they're 15-7 in one-run games. I know they've won 8 of the last 10 games here at AT&T. But they have to put some offense together to beat these big bats from Milwaukee.
Cain up against Chase Anderson, a right-hander for a change, with all of those lefties in the lineup against him. We'll see. Stay tuned now. We will take you to the CSN Bay Area studios for more on tonight's game right after these messages.
It's a beautiful night for baseball at AT Park. The Milwaukee Brewers are in town for a 3-game series. Giants back in action after taking 2 of 3 from the rival Dodgers. Kelly Johnson, Sean Estes here in the season studios getting you ready for tonight's game. Matt Cain returns from the disabled list to make the start tonight in the series opener on the 4-year anniversary of his perfect game, no less, so no pressure there. But Cain obviously has had a rough couple of years, an up-and-down season so far, started poorly, settled down in May. What can we expect to see from Matt Cain tonight?
Well, I'd like to hope that we see the Matt Cain that we saw, right before he went on the disabled list. His last 23 innings pitched, he's only given up 4 runs. He struck out 17 guys, only walked 4. He had a nice set of mechanics working in those 4 starts. He finally got a nice rhythm going, and then all of a sudden he gets hurt with the hamstring. The thing that is a little bit concerning about a hamstring is you really don't know unless you pitch against major league competition and you push it to that extra level if that thing's going to hold up. So that's the one thing you worry about a little bit. But like I said, he established a nice rhythm before he went on the disabled list. Let's hope he can pick up right where he Milwaukee Brewers.
Yeah, you see Cain's ERA brought way down there in the month of May. Now, Brandon Belt signs his big contract coming into the season. He now leads the Giants in home runs, doubles, hits, on-base percentage, just to name a few. Has there been something different in his approach this year?
I thought last year he started to, morph into the guy they believed that he could be, and that's the guy that we're seeing right now. Unfortunately, a couple injuries derailed him last year. He wasn't able to establish that rhythm like we talked about Matt Cain. Getting constant reps. When you get hurt, you take a step back. But now he's been in the lineup every day this year. He has the ability to take walks. He has the ability to hit the ball out of the ballpark. He's got power. He hits for average, and he's a guy that can carry your ball club, much like a Paul Goldschmidt for the Arizona Diamondbacks, a guy that gets on base quite a bit. So he's the guy right now that's living up to the contract that he signed this spring, and a guy that can really carry this club when he's going well.
Okay, well, the Giants are looking to win 3 straight. Of course, Brandon Belt had the big 2-run homer yesterday to beat the Dodgers and win that series. We'll see what he can do tonight. That'll do it for us here in studio. After the break, it's back out to AT Park for first pitch. It's the Giants and Brewers next on NBC Bay Area. Enjoy the game.
Series where the Giants took 2 out of 3 from the Dodgers. San Francisco welcomes in the Milwaukee Brewers for a 3-game contest. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Amy Gutierrez. The Giants would certainly love to keep their momentum going against the Brew Crew this evening. They're on a bit of a roll, winning a big series against LA, and they're coming off a fantastic outing from Jake Peavy, who yesterday recorded his 150th career win. It is our forward right choice this evening, 6 innings strong. He gave up 4 hits, no runs, and then he gets an absolute A for effort on the hustle factor when he nearly beats out Chase Utley with a dive and a very dangerous shoulder roll. The new Ford F-150, the official truck of Madison Bumgarner. It's built Ford tough. Learn more at yourcalifornia.com. Jake Peavy is a little bit stiff today after that tumble, but Bruce Bochy said he will make his next start. Also back in the rotation, Matt Cain has been activated today. He'll be on the mound for your San Francisco Giants. We've got lineups, we've got first pitch, and we've got John Miller and Mike Krukow. Don't go anywhere.
Game 1 of the series on a beautiful night here in downtown San Francisco. Cain just off the disabled list today on the 4th anniversary of an historic night for Cain and for the Giants. The Houston Astros were in town, and this was the final out. Arias, and that was the end of a perfect game. This is the 134th year in Giants history. That is the only time any Giants pitcher has ever finished a perfect game. Here's the batting order for the visiting Brewers tonight. It'll be Jonathan Villar at shortstop, Scooter Gennett second base, then the power Ryan Braun having an outstanding season, and actually his average so far this year is at .316. Jonathan Lucroy is the catcher. Lucroy, who's hitting .303, and then Chris Carter, big slugger's got 17 home runs. Kirk Neuenhuis in center field, Aaron Hill the veteran at third base, Ramon Flores is in right field, and Chase Anderson the pitcher is batting ninth.
On the hill tonight for the Giants will be the veteran Matt Cain. Cain, 6'3", 230-pounder. He's 31 years old. He's in his 11th year at the big league level. 3-time All-Star. Is making a start coming off the disabled list when he had a hamstring problem in his last start in Colorado. So hasn't pitched since May 28th. When he's on, you're going to see a low 90s fastball, curveball, cutter, and a changeup. And he'll throw anything at any time. Lifetime against these Brewers. 3-8 with a 4.90 ERA. And let's take a look at the defense playing behind Matt Cain tonight for the Giants, starting in their outfield from left to right. It'll be Parker, Span, and Blanco, the best arm in left field with Parker, although it takes a while to get rid of the ball. Crawford, Duffy on the left side of the infield. Panic, Bell on the right side. Buster Posey, he'll be in the squad, putting down the signs.
And here we go. Jonathan Villar leads off for the Brewers. Villar, who is hitting .292, got a .386 on base percentage, and he has been one of the top leadoff men in the National League so far this year. For good measure, he has 23 stolen bases, and that leads the National League in that category. 58 degrees, the official game time temperature. That's in there for a called strike. Matt Cain was doing his best pitching of the year at the point where he got injured 2.5 weeks ago. That curveball, that snapped back in there for a called strike. Beauty.
Nice to establish that pitch early in the game. And when he's on with that pitch, he can go inside outside with it. He usually has a nice feel for that curveball.
1-2 to Villar. And too high. 2-2.
Got underneath that fastball, and that's something he'll look to correct early in the ball game. Stay on top. That allows you to control the knee-high location in and out.
On the left side of the infield, Crawford, and one away.
Nice plant job with that fastball right in the hands. So right away, I mean, Cain looks pretty sharp with his command.
And that's a question about Cain, because he's been out for 2.5 weeks. He had a great groove going in his last 4 starts before he got hurt. He had a 1.59 earned run average. And so just how sharp can you expect him to be tonight? So far, he looks pretty sharp.
Well, he's passed all the tests out of the windup. Now can he transition it into the stretch? Should he get in the stretch?
Jeanette, and that's off the outside. That's right. He does have a history of not having to go into the stretch on this particular date.
Yeah, if you do it one time, they expect you to, they want you to do it every time.
Change up, and you can see Jeanette was way off balance for that one. 1-1. Kerwin Danley behind the plate with Andy Fletcher at first. Joe West, the senior, not just in this crew umpire, but in all of Major League Baseball. He's the crew chief at second. Mark Ripperger is at third base. Bounces that curveball. 2-1.
Kerwin Danley, he's a low ball umpire by nature. He's the type of guy that can be tight early in the game, but if you throw strikes for him, he will loosen up, and it's often his biggest corners come late in the game.
There's Denard Span over toward right center. 2 down. And again, he kind of buried that fastball in under the hands. This time of Jeanette. So 2 down. Here is Ryan Braun. The big power comes up now. There was an item today, and it might have been Bob Nightingale of the USA Today, who said that, or reported that, the Giants had initiated talks with the Brewers about perhaps acquiring Ryan Braun. Now, I suppose that anybody can call anybody at any time and say, hey, would you like to trade Ryan Braun to us? And whether that's actually initiating talks, or that's just a general manager actually calling and saying, what about this particular guy? We don't know. But he also added there's nothing imminent about a deal. There's a strike, and it's 1-1. But this is one of the top sluggers in the National League.
Good player. Good outfielder, too. Aren't many teams that would not want Ryan Braun.
Off the inside from Kane. Kane versus Braun. Braun has a .360 lifetime average against him, 9 for 25, including a double, triple, and a homer. The Brewers, as a team, the history for Kane versus the Brewers is not great. Got a 4.90 earned run average lifetime against Milwaukee teams. That was a squibber. He was way out in front of it. And Paddock throws out Braun, and that's a strong first inning for Matt Cain. Span, Paddock, and Belt coming up. Here at AT Park. Let's take a look at the Giants batting order now. Brought to you by Audi. Visit a Bay Area Audi dealer today and get behind the wheel of the Audi model you've always wanted. Span in center, Paddock at second. Brandon Belt, who had the game-winning home run for the Giants last night, hitting .333 in the month in 10 games. Buster Posey, the catcher. Matt Duffy at third. Brandon Crawford at short, hitting sixth. Jarrett Parker in left. Gregor Blanco in right. And then Matt Cain, the pitcher, batting ninth.
On the hill tonight for the Milwaukee Brewers will be the right-hander Chase Anderson. Anderson, 6'1", 200-pounder, in his third year at the big league level. This is what he has done in 12 starts, 4-6 with a 4.21 ERA. Good strikeout-walk ratio, 52 punch-outs and 66 and a third. How does he do it, you say? Well, a low 90s fastball. He'll throw a lot of two-seamers. When he's right, he'll get a lot of ground balls with that sinker. He's also got a curveball, a slider, and a changeup. The changeup is probably the specialty pitch that he'll use the most. Coming off his last outing, and he really had a good outing in Milwaukee against the Oakland Athletics with 6 2/3. Took a no-hitter into the 7th inning. So he's throwing with confidence right now. Lifetime against the Giants, 1-2 with an ERA lifetime against San Francisco of 8.53.
He's only allowed 2 runs in his last 3 starts combined. Down and in for ball 1 to Denard Span. Hitting .255 with a .344 on base average. Shortstop VR for the Brewers, playing Span to pull well over toward the middle. And the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. I'm John Miller with Mike Krukow, Giants baseball on NBC Bay Area and the Giants television network. That ball is smoked. It is into the water. That one is wet. A spectacular home run for Denard Span, who's got 3 home runs for the year, and 2 of them have been hit against the Brewers.
Wow. That got out of here in a hurry. Let's take a look at it from our splash cam. I mean, you know, he does this at batting practice. Every once in a while, he'll hit one and everybody stops what they're doing.
And how about the guy with the fishing pole that reeled it right in?
Joe Panik takes a strike. On opening day in Milwaukee back on April the 4th, Span hit a 3-run homer when the Giants broke the game open in the 8th inning. That was the day where he had 5 RBIs, his first game as a Giant. He knocked in 5, and he gets his 24th RBI of the year on this home run.
Well, that'll line a dugout up quickly. Also gets everybody in this ballpark into the game. The 70th splash hit by a Giants hitter since the ballpark opened its doors in 2000.
That ball is hit well to the big part of the yard. Flores still going back. It's over his head into the 8th archway right next to 421. Panik is streaking for third, and he's going to make it there standing up. A triple.
Well, as they all get reset, let's take a look at our Milwaukee's Brewers defense tonight. Behind Chase Anderson, starting in the outfield from left to right, it'll be Braun, Neuenhuis, and Flores. The best arm will be in left field with Ryan Braun. It's a good one. VR and Hill on the left side of the infield. Jeanette and Carter on the right side. And Jonathan Lucroy will be in the squad, putting down the signs.
So here's Brandon Belt. Well, he had a home run into the water and had another ball that would have been a home run in any other ballpark. And there's ball 1 to Brandon Belt, who hit a home run himself last night in the 6th inning for the only runs the Giants would get. And as it turned out, all they would need. 3 infielders to the right of second against him. And that is flipped out into center field. An RBI base hit. So Panik in to score. 3 straight hits to start the afternoon or the evening here. And the Giants have a 2-0 lead with nobody out.
Yeah, they've hit for 3 legs of the cycle here, the first 3 hitters of the game. They get the 2 tough ones out of the way. The home run, the triple to start it off. So Joe Panik getting the hero's welcome back in the Giants dugout.
The home run by Span, followed by Panik's triple, and the RBI single by Belt. Here's Buster Posey. 251 with a .311 on base percentage. And he took off after that. Just kind of want to get it in curveball, and he did not launch it.
Yeah, pretty good pitch to hit there. Looked to me like he was just a little bit out front on it.
Matt Cain, who retired the Brewers in order in the top of the inning, watching as his team has jumped ahead with 2 runs and still nobody out. Belt at first. Check swing foul over toward the Milwaukee dugout. 0-2. Posey facing Anderson. He's had 3 hits in 7 career at bats against Anderson, who is a former Arizona Diamondback. In the dirt. Blocked by Lucroy.
Textbook block job by Lucroy. Gives you a nice low target. I always liked him behind the plate. Really sets a low target.
That is a fair ball. And Hill throws out Buster Posey. Belt moves up. The ball was just not hit very hard. So Belt moves into scoring position with 1 out. And Matt Duffy will come up. We were able to watch much of the first half of the Warriors game, which is going on right across the bay from here in the Oracle Arena, which we can see from AT&T Park from our vantage point. And the Giants have been showing that Warriors game, which is in halftime now. There you see the Oracle Arena. on the other side of the bay from here. The Giants were showing the game and all of the televisions and all the concourses and the suites and everywhere else in the ballpark where there is a television set. And for a good long while showed it on the big screen, the Mitsubishi high def screen out in center field. But I have a feeling a lot of people are back inside even now, getting ready to watch the second half of that game as they're here at AT Park. So it's a big night for sports here in the Bay Area. They got the first place Giants here facing the Brewers. Matt Cain returning from the disabled list, and the Warriors with a victory tonight would clinch their second consecutive NBA title. A ball and a strike to Matt Duffy. Now he asks for time and backs away. Duffy's 3 for 5, so he has a little bit of experience against Chase Anderson, and it's been a happy experience for him. Duffy, who has hit extremely well here at home, although his overall numbers are not very good. .238 average for the year. Called a strike on the outside.
Well, he's got a pretty good swing going. Had a real nice series swinging the bat against the Dodgers. And when he's right, you're going to see him use the whole field, primarily from left center over to the right field foul line. Didn't see him pull very often down the left field line. But right now they are playing pretty straight up in the outfield.
That one just kind of stayed out over the plate up, and he fouled it back and out of play. He's hitting .342 in this ballpark this year. Here's Steve Decker, one of the Giants hitting instructors, alongside bullpen coach Mark Gardner. 1-2 to Matt Duffy. On the road is where he suffered. He's hitting .130 on the road.
It's a hard .130 though.
It's a lot of bad luck apparently on the road. That it sounded like a broken bat. 1 ball and 2 strikes, but apparently not.
It did not sound healthy. I agree. All right. Job well done. Our ball dude, Bert Strain, third base side.
Ball and 2 strikes to Duffy. Base hit can mean a run. Belt at second, 1 out. 2 runs in for the Giants. And he swing, and he is ruled to have swung by Kerwin Danley. Strike 3.
So first strikeout of the night. Oh yeah, he definitely went. No doubt about it. A lot of wind in this ballpark tonight, as we've seen this entire homestand. So balls in the air, pop-ups, fly balls will not be easy at any point. Another good block from Lucroy.
Brandon Crawford, second on the team with 33 runs batted in. Trying to add to that total right here. Get the Giants a second run, or a third run of the inning. They have 2 on the board already. That changeup in the dirt, blocked again by Lucroy. Crawford, his overall batting average is .268. But with runners in scoring position, he's got one out there now at second base. His batting average, there he is, Brandon Belt. He's hitting .358. The runners in scoring position. Chase Anderson, the pitcher. And he changed up again on 2-0.
That's a good one. Well, that's when a changeup is most effective, when you can throw it in a fastball count. Especially when you're giving up some line drives, as Anderson has done here early in this game. They're contagious. Everybody goes up there thinking they're going to get one. That's when you need a changeup.
Got a fastball there and had a Big rip at it, fouling it back into the second deck.
Brought his glove, made a play, and everybody's happy. Smile, hun. You're covering your mouth, dear. There you go.
No, I was wrong. You hold it right where you were. I'll adjust because you're the man who caught the foul ball.
He was the man. All right, let's take a look at the play. Picked it right there. Oh yeah, in the semi-sweet spot.
He's got a good reach, good wingspan, that guy.
Yep, he got a few attaboys there. That was nice.
2-2 to Crawford. Brandon Belt ready to run at the crack of the bat from second base with 2 down. Plenty of room out there for Flores, and the inning is over. The Giants jump ahead here in the first inning. Denard Span planted one in San Francisco Bay to lead off the inning. The Giants got another run right after. 2-0 Giants after 1. It is 2-0 Giants as we start the second inning from AT&T Park. And Matt Cain back to work. He retired the side in order in the first inning on 13 pitches. And here's the Milwaukee cleanup man, Jonathan Lucroy. A lot of injury problems plagued him last year, but he's back healthy this year, and he's having an outstanding year, both offensively and defensively. And Cain drops in a called strike, and it's 0-1. Lucroy, who's done well against Cain, 8 for 21, a .381 average, homer, triple, 2 doubles. The curve off the outside. He's thrown a couple of curves. Been pretty sharp looking.
Yeah, he's got a good one going. I mean, that's when he got his elbow cleaned out and he took the chips out. He got his curveball back.
Not hit very hard. Crawford. The catcher running and gets Lucroy one away. Now let's check in with Amy G.
All right, John, as you mentioned, Denard Span opening day went yard against the Brewers for a 3-run home run. We've got it. It's our BMW drive of the game. He wasn't the only one because the Giants went back to back to back. You see panic after Span, and then Buster Posey not to be outdone by the other fellas. The ultimate driving machine. Visit BayAreaBMW.com. Quite a game on opening day, gentlemen.
Giants won that game 12-3. Hit 4 home runs, including those 3 in succession. Part of a 5-run 8th inning rally that broke that game open. Chris Carter Last few years he'd been in Houston with Oakland before that. Big and strong, and you cannot make a mistake against this guy because he got enormous power.
Yeah, he really does. And some of the strongest hands in the game. When you look at him, he doesn't overswing. I mean, it's just an easy swing that generates that power. He will chase. You can get him above the strike zone. You can get him to chase down below the strike zone. But if he squares you up, I mean, he can hit it out of any ballpark from foul line to foul line. A lot of power to straightaway center. Pretty good pitch, pretty good take right there from Carter.
2-2. Carter, not a guy with a high batting average, 228, but he got 17 homers and 40 runs batted in. Well, laid off that one. 3-2.
Well, he made two good pitches. The 1-2 curveball just off the plate away. Carter didn't bite here. They tried to heat him up across the letters with a fastball and a 2-2 pitch, and he didn't bite. So now they have to get in the strike zone.
So a walk to Carter.
Well, we're holding a fundraiser benefiting our troops during the July 4th through 6th games. Your fundraising package will include a limited edition 4th of July Giants hat, a ticket to see the Giants take on the Rockies, and $5 from each package benefits Operation Care and Comfort to aid in their ongoing mission to support troops, veterans, and their families. Go to sfgiants.com/special events.
Matt Cain out of the stretch for the first time. Neuenhuis, and that changeup just disappeared. Came in about knee high and fell right over the top of Yosemite Falls. 0-1 the count.
Which is raging right now. All the waterfalls in Yosemite.
Great time to go up to Yosemite. Those waterfalls are in their best form. And that's too high. 1 ball and 1 strike to Neuenhuis, a former Met who is hitting .228 with 2 home runs for the Brewers. Does have a .340 on base average, so that's pretty good on base average for such a low batting average. So he gets a lot of walks.
He's got good speed too.
2-1. He's the center fielder for the Brewers. And he's a very good outfielder as well. Uses that speed to good effect. You see Brandon Crawford playing him almost right up the middle. The outfield, though, is shaded a bit toward left field, playing him to swing late. And that one disappeared. 2-2.
And a changeup. 2 times he's gotten swing throughs with it in this sequence of pitches. Cain gets that changeup going. He could throw 4 times in a row. That really was the pitch that took him to the next level as he developed really at the big league level.
Oh. 3-2.
Well, by definition in the rule book, that was a strike. But with an umpire who prefers the low ball strike, not going to get it.
One out, runner at first. 3-2 the count. Wow. So Cain feels like he got squeezed a little bit there, and that's 2 straight walks. Carter moves over to second. So here is Aaron Hill, veteran infielder, playing third base for the Brewers. He's hitting .261, got 6 home runs and a .349 on base average. And that's a called strike.
The one thing you fear when you have a guy miss a couple of weeks because of an injury like Cain had to his hamstring is long innings. When you throw 25 plus pitches, that's when you really are susceptible.
And that curveball, strike 2 call. 0-2. Well, he's thrown 17 pitches in this inning. He'd love to get Hill to hit a ground ball right at somebody to start a double play to end the inning right here. Carter at second, Neuenhuis at first. The Giants ahead 2-0. And that is high and foul. The wind blowing it back. And Brandon Belt actually had a shot at it at the very last.
Talking about the curveball from Matt Cain and a look from behind, you can see just how big that curveball is. That was his strikeout pitch, his kill pitch when he first got to the big leagues at the tender age of 20.
Right back to Cain. There's one. Panic to first. And he got the double play. 2-0 Giants. Parker, Blanco, and Cain coming up. Cherokee. This was the play last night by Mac Williamson, who just left the ground defying gravity, and while flying through the air he caught that ball, which in the very first inning may well have saved a run. There was a runner at first that had gone past him to the wall. Chase Utley might have scored and we might have had an entirely different game than what we ended up with. So the Jeep play of the game brought to you by the Jeep Cherokee. With an EP estimated 31 highway miles per gallon, it's the perfect choice. Visit Jeep.com for more information. And the Giants played sterling defense all last night, including Jake Peavy. Here's a ball down and away, ball one, and Jake ended up with a late break to first base in the 6th inning. And perhaps a little surprise, Brandon Belt went all the way over in front of the second baseman to field a ground ball, and Jake was not going to win the foot race to first base with Chase Utley, so he became a human torpedo and launched himself at the bag with the glove hand, with the ball in the glove out front, and the umpire called the runner out. Jake, by the way, was nowhere to be seen during batting practice tonight. I asked Bochy where he was, and he said, well, he's in the trainer's room right now getting treatment. He had neck stiffness that almost kept them from using him in that game last night at all, as the count goes to 2-2. And here's that play we were talking about last night.
Hey, you think he wants to win? Well, he just throws himself in, had a little whiplash there, and that really was the play that got him out of the ball game. This is after 6 zeros he put up on the board. Beautiful pitching.
3-2 to Parker. And Jake a little banged up today, although Bruce Bochy said he anticipates Jake will be back, put all back together again and make his next start. Here's the skipper of the Giants with the bench coach Ron Wotus alongside. Giants lead 2-0. As Jarrett Parker leads off here in the second against Chase Anderson. And the foul ball. Bill Hayes, as first base coach, will go over and pick it up.
Watching Jarrett Parker's batting practice today was fun. He hit some like 9 irons and they go out to center field.
Change up. Strike 3.
Not that time. That changeup just locked him up. I think he thought that ball was high. See the circle change with the 2-seam grip, and that was a high strike. Don't normally see many belt high strikes from Kerwin Danley, but take a look at the strike zone in the rule book. That's a strike.
Gregor Blanco now. Blanco 231 average. And he chased that high one. Back into the second deck. Strike 1.
Yeah, I don't believe he's too happy with that swing. It looked more like an emergency swing than an aggressive swing you want to take on the first pitch, especially if you're looking fastball.
This is Carter. Anderson covering. 2 down.
Well, NBC Bay Area investigates to hold the powerful accountable, and now it's expanding its resources to help solve your consumer problems. Introducing NBC Bay Area Responds. It's a new team dedicated to investigating your consumer complaints and returning your money. Contact 1-888-996-TIPS or visit NBCBayArea.com/responds. Every call, every email will be answered. NBC Bay Area, we investigate.
Matt Cain, 1 hit, 17 at bats for the year. Shallow right field, and caught by Flores after a long run. Quick inning, 3 up, 3 down. On to the third. Matt Cain back to the mound.
Brought to you by Supercuts. Save time. Check in online with the mobile app or at supercuts.com. It's easy to find the right location, time, and stylist to get you ready to go. Supercuts.
Madison Bumgarner in the dugout looking on. You know, Bumgarner had said a little while back that when some writers asked him if he'd like to be in the home run derby, he said, yeah, I'd like to. I really would like to. And he's said it a couple times since. Now the pitchers all around the National League say, you know, I'd like to be in it too. Jose Fernandez of the Miami Marlins, who's had a couple of home runs in his career, has said, yeah, I'd love to be in that. That's a called strike. Jake Arrieta came out last, Friday or Saturday, and said, man, I'd love to be in that.
They're kind of killing it.
But back to a curveball for a strike.
Why not have a pitchers only home run derby contest?
You mean like a whole separate contest?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. Here's Crawford, and he throws out Flores, who runs pretty well. First out here in the third inning. Matt Cain, who walked a couple with one out in the second, but then got the inning-ending double play ball, and looked like another pretty good changeup there to get Flores. And here comes Anderson, the pitcher. Anderson, 1 hit, 19 at bats, and struck out 11 times. 2-0, the Giants ahead. In there for a called strike. I guess Draymond Green refused your invitation.
Yeah, I'm a little upset at that.
Mike said because when he's suspended for a game in the NBA, he can't even be in the arena anywhere. He can't be up in the seats or with the owner in his box or anything. And so, Mike, I thought it was very, very kind of you to offer. You invited him to sit with us tonight. And that's all in that big hook from Matt Cain. You got a good one going tonight. That's his first strikeout. 2 down in the inning.
Well, I left him tickets. But I totally understand. I mean, he wants to be close to the arena, but hey. We left the tickets, and you know, I think we could have gotten a helicopter and could have gone over when they win it tonight and celebrate.
Well, you had given this quite a bit of thought.
Oh, absolutely.
Because if they win, then he wants to be there to come in for the celebration.
Yeah.
But you're talking about, hey, Raymond, we get you over there right away.
There's the seats right there. They were good ones.
And the change up for a called strike to the leadoff man, VR. Jonathan VR, who popped up to short his first time. And that's a strike. 1-2.
And that's kind of the speed between the changeup and the fastball. Batting practice fastball, it completely broke VR down.
A little bit off the outside. 2-2. Ryan Braun in the hole with Jeanette on deck. 2 balls, 2 strikes the count. Joe Panic, no, not this time. That changeup was hit hard by VR, and he is having an outstanding season. He's kind of a well-kept secret there in Milwaukee, but this is a guy I think that when you talk to scouts about him, he was always considered a utility infielder kind of a guy, an extra guy. And the Brewers put him out there, and he's just been spectacular. And most scouts are not saying that utility thing about him anymore because he's become one of the top leadoff guys in the league, and he leads the league in steals, as you see there. So he may be taking off here.
Oh, it's go time.
Jeanette. That's going to be a hit. The idea is let's get as many men on base as we can for Ryan Braun. So no thought to trying to knock in VR himself. He just wanted to get on base. The Giants gave him the bunt, and he took it.
Well, you can't execute a push bunt any better than what Scooter Jeanette just did. I mean, that's textbook.
So here is Braun. He grounded out to second in the first inning. Braun, who has 11 homers, 11 doubles, 36 runs batted in. His OPS is well over 900. Anything over 800 is outstanding. 900 is one of the best in the game. And he curves him for a called strike.
And the curveball, the go-to pitch, the steal strike one.
2 men on, 2 men out. The Brewers with a threat here. Braun is hitting .380 for the year with runners in scoring position. Bluffs the pick off to second. VR back to the bag. Paddock is over there close by, trying to keep him close. That's the other thing. Sometimes a guy will take off like this with a big right-handed hitter up there and open up that hole. The third baseman goes to cover the bag. There he goes. Right off of Kane. Crawford keeps it on the infield as VR, who had rounded the bag, back to third, and the bases are loaded. They took off, and Duffy did go over to cover the bag.
Yeah, that's a nice play from Crawford to keep that ball from going into the outfield. I think it's in the outfield. That's a run right there. And he almost had a play with VR so aggressively rounding third base. See where he got Kane looking like right behind the right knee. So Buster Posey out there to check on his big pitcher. He's all right. Of course, that is easy for me to say.
I'm with you. He looks fine.
Yeah, but it didn't hurt us. I mean, we're good. But this all started with 2 outs very quietly.
Well, I checked it out on the StatCast on the MLB at bat app. Braun hit that ball, the exit speed off his bat, 105 miles an hour. So here's the cleanup man, Lucroy. And he gets that first pitch, curveball strike. Lucroy grounded out to short his first time. The Brewers with 2 down and nobody on. VR got a base hit. Jeanette bunted for a hit. And then Braun got the infield hit off the leg of Matt Cain. Bases loaded and 2 down, and the cleanup hitter up. Just off the outside. Lucroy's knocked in 29 runs for the year. He's hitting over 300. And he lays off that curve. 76 miles an hour. 2-1.
Pretty good teasers, but the fish aren't biting. 3 pitches, 3 breaking balls. And each one was exactly where he wanted to throw it.
Carter, another bopper, is on deck. 2-0 Giants. The Brewers, though, with a great opportunity here. 3 men on, 2 men out. One of their best hitters at the plate. Now it's 3-1.
No place to put him. He's got to come to him here.
Well, he's thrown a lot of pitches here in these last 2 innings. 19 in the second. This will be number 19 in the third. And he pulled it off the outside and has walked in a run. So VR in to score. Dave Righetti is going to go out to the mound. 2-1 the score now as Chris Carter is coming up.
A little bit of a sling in that delivery usually means you're dropping down from your normal arm slot. I'm sure that's one of the things that Dave Righetti will say to Matt Cain. A little higher with your arm slot. And really, this is just to give him a little bit of a breather. As you mentioned, coming back off the disabled list, it's amazing how you can lose arm strength. Now they figured he could go 80, maybe even 90 pitches tonight, but you don't want to have long innings where you get into the 20, 25 pitch count or even above. That's where you just lose strength.
Well, this will be his 20th pitch of this inning. Bases loaded, 1 out, 2 out, a run in.
He's not missing by a whole bunch. I mean, it's not like he's way wild. He's just a little bit out of the strike zone. And to the credit of the Brewers, and they're not going after him. They're not helping him out at all.
So Kerwin Danley did not get the memo about the upper end of the strike zone. And the MLB at bat, the pitch FX showing that both of those were right at the top of the strike zone. And on rule book strikes, as you've pointed out a couple of times. 2-0 the count. 3-0.
Again, just missing. And you can see the frustration starting to wear on Kane. Staying away from just the groove challenge fastball. You can't do that with Carter. He's got too much power. Slider right on the outside corner. He wanted that one badly. Didn't get it.
There's nowhere to put him. The bases already loaded with 2 down. 3-0 the count. And Carter taking all the way and saying, wait a minute, why didn't I swing at that one?
Well, it does make you wonder. A guy like Carter, who's got his type of power, 17 home runs on the year, 40 RBIs, you want to get him a good pitch, and he just had one.
And he has walked in a run. So it's 2-2.
So frustrating. Cannot defend it. As good as the Giants defense is, you just can't defend a walk. Albert Suarez has got the red alert going right now.
Kane has thrown 24 pitches in this inning. The Brewers have had 5 straight hitters reach after 2 were down with the bases empty. That's a called strike to Nieuwenhuis. Nieuwenhuis walked his first time. A ball and a strike. Brewers now have Braun at third, Lucroy at second, Carter at first. The 2 walks coming after Braun's base hit that hit Kane in the leg. And the curveball is way off the outside. 2-1.
Now this becomes a real big pitch for Kane. He wants to avoid the 3-ball count. Pitch number 60 coming up. Suarez is ready to go in the bullpen.
2-2 in the 3rd inning. And the changeup is low. 3-1. So he goes to 3-1.
And whereas before he was missing very close to strikes out, now starting to miss by bigger margins.
Bases loaded, 2 down. 3-1 the count. We got the call on the outside. The strike zone, the strike zone has been very tiny.
Well, I mean, that's kind of the way Kerwin Danley is. You know, it's usually low strikes. You don't get a lot of belts, not big corners. And if you start throwing balls, I mean, it gets even tighter, and that's what's happened this inning.
Three and 2. The runners ready to take off. Braun, Lucroy, and Carter. There they go. Struck him out. On the 30th pitch of the inning, Kane ends it. It's now 2-2. Future Focus X1 will change the way you experience TV, only from Xfinity. Chris Shaw is in the California League, a first baseman, and with the San Jose Giants in 58 games, 288 batting average, 357 on base percentage, and third in the league with a 545 slugging percentage. Yes, he's a slugger. 13 home runs, third in the league in that category, 18 doubles, and he leads the league with 47 runs batted in. He's 22 years old, a first-round pick from last year. A name to remember for the future, Chris Shaw, 6 feet 4 inches tall. And that league's got some great ballparks in which to hit. As Span drops a bunt, it's hanging, and that is a base hit. It just was magnetized to the edge of the grass and would not leave it.
Well, we've seen some pretty good bunts tonight, but you don't expect a guy that in his previous at bat hit one in the water to come up and bunt. And that's exactly what Denard Span does. They gave it to him. He took it. And if you're Aaron Hill, the third baseman for the Brewers, you just pick it up, take a bite out of it. Tip your cap, because that, folks, is perfection.
So Span is aboard. Here's Joe Panik, who hit a long triple out toward the 421 marker in deep right center. And ball one from Chase Anderson. 2-2 the score here. The Brewers getting a couple in the first half of this inning. Patience if you're a hitter against Anderson would be advised, because it's a very small strike zone from Kerwin Danley tonight. Span is back to the bag. Carter plays on the bag with him. So Joe Panik. Panik's got a hot streak coming, hitting only .255. Pretty well established himself with that batting average up around 300 his first 2 years in the big leagues. Two and 0. Brandon Belt is on deck. Tomorrow, game 2 of the series, also 7:15 first pitch. Madison Bumgarner will go for the Giants, and Matt Garza will return from the disabled list to make the start for Milwaukee. Off the outside. It's not a big strike zone, so these are all very good takes by Joe Panik.
Danley really is he's a hitter's umpire because of his tightness, and he'll get a lot of big corners. Pretty much a low ball zone. You got to throw it across the plate. He's not going to help you out.
And 3-1. Tomorrow's game 7:15 Wednesday, the getaway day for the Giants. 12:45 Johnny Cueto versus Jimmy Nelson. And each of those games will be televised on CSN Bay Area. 3-1 the count. And he walks. So here comes Bell with 2 men on and nobody out. The deepest drive brought to you by the California Academy of Sciences. Last night, a breaking ball and up into the seats in right center field over the 20-foot high wall against young Julio Urias. And those were the first runs of the game. And he could not have looked worse than he had looked in that game against Urias. And then all of a sudden, boom, it was one swing and a miss after the other, and then he launched one. Discover Twilight Zone Deep Reefs Revealed, a new aquarium exhibit at the California Academy of Sciences that explores the ocean's mysterious deep coral reefs. To learn more and purchase tickets, visit calacademy.org. So here's Belt. He knocked in a run with a single in the first inning. 2 men on here, nobody out. Anderson. That's foul. Looked sharply, but
nice play. Barehander. This player. Not even a smile. He just expects to make the play.
Like she said, you knew you'd do that, didn't you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I never miss one.
Never have.
Pickoff play at second. And that was fairly close as Span clutching desperately at the bag with his right hand. VR almost fell right on top of him.
Yeah, that's pretty close play right there. In the infield, you can't be afraid of contact on that play.
VR played right up the middle for Belt, right behind second base as Anderson throws. And the changeup is low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Two to 2 the score. Brandon Belt comes up hitting an even .300 for the year. On base average well over 400. And that's a pop foul out of play. 1-2. Belt, like the Brewers veteran slugger Ryan Braun, has an OPS over 900. Belt's having an excellent first half of the season.
Yeah, he just saved her life. She had a little scare there.
2-2.
I love how a foul ball lights up a section of the stands. It just does. She is fired up. I know. He's my boy. He's my boy. He's my boy.
I'm with him. Still 2-2. Buster Posey is on deck. Still smiling.
That is the look of admiration right there. He's trying his best to play it cool, but it's getting harder.
Nobody out in the inning. 2 men on. And the changeup. He chased. Couldn't get it. 1 away. Down in San Diego, Miami's playing, and Ichiro has had 2 hits in that game. And not only is he closing in on 3,000 hits in Major League Baseball, but if you take his hit total from the Japanese leagues and add it to his Major League total, he's now just a couple away from Pete Rose overall. And in Japan, they are covering that story big time for the all-time world record for hits in a career. Pete Rose is not buying it. That should be looked at that way. But he's had an amazing career, considering he played 9 years in the Japanese league before he got here.
A remarkable hitter. And you know, Pete Rose will be the first one to tell you the guy's gifted with the bat in his hands, no doubt.
And Pete said, hey, he's a Hall of Famer. There's no question about it.
No question.
Buster Posey on the outside for a strike.
You know, and I just think it's great that we got a chance to see him. I think when it's all said and done, he's going to have over 3,000 hits here in the States. And that itself is a great career. That puts you in the Hall of Fame. When you think about what he did 9 years in Japan, I mean, it's a remarkable career.
On the inside to Buster. 1-2.
Well, that's the low strike that Danler is known for. Right across the knees.
Buster grounded out to third his first time. The Giants were 2 men on. Span at second, Panic at first, 1 out. He was able to slice that one foul into the seats. 1-2. Anderson in trouble here in a 2-2 tie with 2 men on. He got Belt. He's ahead of Posey. Well, it's 2-2, blocked by Lucroy.
Posey's had a good swing going. Really started to at the good hand speed, the good bat speed the last 3 or 4 games. And when he gets hot, he doesn't go out of the strike zone. He stays in it.
Well, the spin move towards second. Nobody was covering. Span back to the bag.
Yeah, I just don't think that's a very good play. I mean, if it's 3-2, 1 out, 2 outs for sure. I mean, that's when you can get a guy who will take off. But a 2-2 count, it's not really a running count.
That one is smoked. Left field. Off the car. Span heading home. He scores. Stopping at third. Panic. A double for Buster Posey. And the Giants are back ahead.
Talk about the swing that he has had. You could just see it all coming together. A little 2-seam fastball. Stays inside it beautifully. When he gets locked in, he always talks about one piece, and look at how the lower body works in sync with the upper body. And that's the one piece. He's just getting a whole backside into the ball, staying inside it. And even a sinker on the inside corner, he can stay inside and keep it fair.
Runners at second and third. The middle infield backed up. And that's blocked well by Lucroy, and a curveball in the dirt to Matt Duffy. This is the chance. The Giants had the 1 run and a chance to do some serious damage here. Duffy struck out his first time. And he got the call on the outside.
Best arm in the outfield for the Brewers in left field with Ryan Braun.
Off the outside with a fastball. 2-1 the count to Matt Duffy. Base hit could mean a couple of runs here. With Panic at third. Posey there at second after his double. Ground ball to a middle infielder could knock in a run here. 3-1 the count. Brandon Crawford is on deck. Duffy stands back in.
A little something in his eye. You see that occasionally here. You should see it like every inning of Candlestick.
And back out of play. 3-2. And Lucroy goes out to chat now with Chase Anderson, who's allowed 5 hits in these first 3 innings, plus a walk. Giants have 3 runs on the board against him.
Maybe talking about his location. Needs to be a little sharper. It's good with Danny. Break up the rod pile. You don't have a whole lot that came over from Candlestick here in this beautiful ballpark. But this last homestand, we've seen wins that have really reminded us of the wins we used to see at Candlestick. And it is howling right now. Fly balls pop-ups have been very entertaining this homestand.
3-2 the count. He reaches for it into the second deck off the right field line. Still 3-2. Shortstop VR pulled over into the hole toward third. Oh, he slaps that one foul.
Yeah, good pitch, good protect right there. Guy paints you like that, a 3-2 count, you fight it off, hope to stay alive and see another one.
Anderson and Duffy will try it again. That one is hit hard. Flores tagging, heading home. Panic is in easily as the throw is offline. 4-2 Giants. Quite a plate appearance there for Duffy.
Indeed.
Not Toyota by the numbers. The Giants played a lot of tight games this year, and they are tied with the Phillies for the most one-run victories in all of Major League Baseball. The Rangers in the American League had the best winning percentage in games decided by one. 13-4. The Phillies are 15-6. The Giants 15-7. Toyota's Cool Deal Summer event is here. See your local dealer for great savings on every dependable Toyota car, SUV, and truck. Hurry in before these deals melt away. Toyota, let's go places. So 2 runs in for the Giants, a 4-2 lead. You got the 2 back that the Brewers scored in the first half of the inning. Here's Crawford to try and do some more damage, but he pops it up.
You get a record play. You get a record like the Giants have with one-run ball games. It tells you a lot about their club. I mean, number one, it tells you that their pitching is good. It tells you their defense is good. It also tells you they're not hitting. In these last 12 games, they have really not hit as a team, hitting 192, and yet throughout those 12 games, they're 6-6. There aren't many teams that can make that claim. I mean, nobody wants to be 500, but when you're not hitting and you're hitting under 200 as a group, that's usually when you have a losing streak. So the Giants clearly feel that their best offense is yet to come.
Well, the Giants know that the teams that win the most games are the teams that don't play a whole lot of close games. Teams that win 95 to 100 games, they're not playing one-run games all the time. They win games by big scores. Too many variables in a tight game. Too many things that can go wrong. Even if you play really well, a broken bat bloop, you make a great pitch, and the guy gets a broken bat bloop hit, and you lose again. There's just too many things that are out of your control in a tie game that can go against you. Having said that, the Giants certainly showed in 2010, 2012, 2014, they know their way around a close game and a big game. 1-2 to Brandon Crawford. Way outside with a changeup. 2-2 now. This has been a long inning for Anderson. That was his 30th pitch of this inning. Both pitchers, Kane in the first half of the inning, now Anderson. Each has thrown 30 pitches in the inning, and this will be number 31 for Anderson. Posey, the runner at second. Struck him out. But Denard Span got it started with a bunt single. A 2-run rally for the Giants started with this. RBIs from Posey and Duffy. Buster with a double off the car. 4-2 Giants as we head to the 4th. to you in part by McDonald's. Get great deals at McDonald's with the McD app. Download the McD app on your smartphone and get great deals at participating Greater Bay Area McDonald's. Visit McDapp.com.
Well, follow Giants Baseball live with the MLB.com at-bat app. Stay up to the moment at any moment with game day, live game video highlights, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at-bat, the #1 app for live baseball.
Here's Aaron Hill. Matt Cain throws him a called strike. Well, Matt Cain wouldn't mind a fairly quick inning here after a 30-pitch marathon in the third. That's out of play off the first base side.
No, you're right. Shutdown inning is in order here after the Giants put it back up on top by 2 with the 2 spot they put in last inning.
On 2.
You know, the frustration of getting hurt in a season is that it sets you back. And for Cain, who's worked so hard to get back to where he was a couple years ago, he was back. I mean, his last 3 starts prior to going to the disabled list, he was outstanding. And he was feeling it. His confidence was off the charts. Now, May 28th in Colorado, he has a hamstring injury, and it sets you back because it's impossible to stay as sharp and as strong as you were prior to the injury, no matter what you do on the disabled list. So you have to just kind of have the mindset that you're starting all over. You're building up arm strength, building up sharpness, the ability to repeat your arm slot.
Check swing and a foul. Just past the first base bag. One and 2 to Aaron Hill. Now 2-2. Hill grounded into an inning-ending double play. Hit one right back to Cain, who started the double play back in the second. He's got a Giants jersey and a 49ers stocking cap. There's strike 3 called. Second strikeout for Cain.
And it's the breaking ball around the outside corner. Posey catches it, tucks it in. And that's a big first out when you're trying to put a shutdown inning together. One of the few times we've seen a corner strike determine an at bat for Matt Cain.
Strike 1 to Flores. Ramon Flores. 223 average coming into the game with 1 home run. Ball and a strike. Four runs, 5 hits for the Giants. 2 runs, 3 hits for Milwaukee. We're in the 4th inning. A curveball, bounce foul over to the Milwaukee dugout. A ball and 2 strikes. To the screen again.
Tried to backdoor him with a little cutter. Left it up. You won't be happy with that. Ideally, when you try and wrap around that cutter in the outside corner and bring it back into the strike zone, you want to be low right around the knees, not up around the belt. Flores in the protect mode. The easiest place to protect. Belt to your letters. Hey, that's a big glove.
That crowded him. 2-2.
I like big gloves and I cannot lie.
That's what I needed when I played.
Hey, they work. That's a big glove.
Now that's a big glove. 2-2 the count to Flores. The Dodgers are playing in Arizona tonight. It's 4-2 Arizona in the last of the 6th inning. And another foul ball. Making Kane work hard here. Bolsinger started for the Dodgers in that game. Corey Seager hit his 15th home run for LA. Goldschmidt's hit 2 home runs. And Lamb is homered for Arizona. Zach Greinke, the former Dodger, going for the D-backs. 2-2 the count. And the changeup, and he got a piece of that.
That's a great hat. Fits everybody, looks good on everybody.
Two and two to Flores, and Kane will try it yet again. Now 3-2.
2-2 changeup. Well, it never gets old. Folks from Milwaukee, they travel well. And when you go to the great state of California, bring your cheesehead hat.
Kane walks him. That's his 5th walk. Flores earned that one.
Well, Giants fans, did you know that NBC Bay Area recently improved its over-the-air signal so more people can tune in with antennas? For instructions on how to rescan your TV, visit NBCBayArea.com/rescan. Check it out and tell a friend.
Buster Posey with a visit to Matt Kane, talking it over, and Kane will go back into the stretch now. Anderson, the pitcher, comes up in a spot where you would expect he'd lay down a bunt. He struck out his first time. Duffy plays him very shallow at third. On 1.
You mentioned earlier in the game that Ramon Flores, who's now at first base, has got good speed. I think you really should have a guy in the 8th spot have pretty good speed. I mean, if you put a slug there at first base, I mean, he's an easy guy to get the out should your pitcher be bunting, which, you know, most of the time a pitcher with a runner at first base, less than 2 outs, are going to be asked to bunt. Flores is not an easy guy to get at second, even on a bunt that's not that great.
Kane will go to first. Panic covered. So Flores has been moved over to second base with 2 down. The leadoff man VR coming up. The Giants bullpen's going to get busy once again here in the 4th. Suarez started throwing during the 3rd inning. And now George Kontos has gone down to the pen here. Along with Mark Gardner, the bullpen coach.
Kontos warms up quickly, even on a cold night.
So this will be the 19th pitch of the inning for Kane. And that, as you mentioned, it was a concern. Not just about a pitch count, but a lot of arduous, stressful innings. And this is the 3rd in a row. He had 19 in the, or rather 19 pitches in the 2nd, 30 in the 3rd, and this was number 19 of the 3rd of his 4th inning, or in the 3rd consecutive inning. 81 overall in the game. On the count. There's a bunt. Duffy. Nope. So VR gets a bunt single. He's got 2 hits in the game. Flores goes over to 3rd. And now Jeanette will come up.
I mean, you just don't see that play very often when you have 2 outs and runner in scoring position. Not many guys will bunt, because that's a situation where I think most managers want to see you swing the bat. They want you to try and drive that runner in. Giants gave it to him defensively. They had Matt Duffy playing back even with a bag. And VR very quick. Still, I just don't like that play. I never have.
Well, it's in essence saying, I don't want to drive in the run. I want you to do it.
Yeah, that's exactly.
I just want to build my batting average up. You go ahead and knock in that run. And Jeanette does it. Coming in to score is Flores, and VR around to 3rd, and he will be held there as the relay throw comes through from Panic. So now it is 4-3, and the Brewers have runners at second and third. And Ryan Braun coming up. And that is going to be all for Matt Cain, who is at 83 pitches thrown and still in the fourth inning. George Kontos will be the one who comes in to face Braun. So Cain departs. The Giants in a tight spot here. Kontos and Braun when we return. Energy checkup shows customers new ways to save energy and money based on their energy habits. Learn more at pge.com/checkup. PG&E, together building a better California. The Marine Layer moving in from the Pacific. The Giants with a 1-run lead. A lot of run scoring here early on. A lot of pitches thrown. And Matt Cain, after 83 pitches, is gone with 2 down in the fourth inning. A windy night here at 24 Willie Mays Plaza. There is George Kontos, and he's trying to hold this lead with one of the outstanding run producers in the majors at the plate, Ryan Braun. And runners at second and third.
Right-handers hitting a $161 off Kontos.
Foul ball, strike one.
And that's what you're trained to do. When you come out of that bullpen, you make something happen on that first pitch, you challenge. Get strike one. Kontos with a low 90s fastball on average. Curveball, slider, and a changeup. Slider being his best kill pitch, best specialty pitch.
It's too low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Braun has grounded out to second, and then he hit one very sharply, 105 miles an hour off the bat, that on a bounce hit Matt Cain in the leg and went for an infield single back in the third.
Well, this is the ideal way to pitch to him. You've got a place to put him. You don't have to give in to him.
Right to Matt Duffy. Inning over. That's a good job for George Kontos against a tough hitter. 4-3 Giants.
By Barracuda Networks, comprehensive security and data protection for private networks and public cloud services.
And the Giants are leading this game 4-3 as we head to the last half of the fourth inning. There's the San Francisco Bell, like a replica of an old Mississippi River sternwheeler from the Mark Twain era. You go out and have a dinner cruise on that boat, and AT Park is a regular feature of their bay cruises. Here's Jared Parker to lead off against Chase Anderson. Ball one. You got Parker, Blanco, and then the pitcher spot. And the Giants have the bullpen getting ready. Albert Suarez is throwing.
Got a good changeup and a fastball count from Anderson.
Three infielders play to the right of second. And that's low, 2-1. Parker was called out on strikes his first time. Tall, strong, left-handed hitter. And the curveball off the inside.
Chase Anderson does not want to challenge him with a fastball. He's been softballing a lot of slow stuff. Change-ups, curveballs. Got a change-up coming.
For a strike. Got the high strike that time.
Also tells you what Jared Parker looks for. He's looking for gas.
And a check swing foul. We got some gas there.
Run of the hands. I mean, it was ball four, but it wound up being a pretty good pitch.
And he gets the walk. Back to the changeup. So the second walk allowed by Anderson. Giants got 2 runs in the first and 2 more in the third, but they've not been able to shake the Brewers, who got 2 in the third and 1 here in the fourth. It's 4-3. Giants starter Matt Cain already out of the game.
3 times the Giants have been able to get the leadoff hitter on, and I mean, that's kind of the prerequisite for a disastrous night if you're pitching. So far, the Giants have been able to score that leadoff runner every time. Of course, it helps when Denard Span hits a home run to start the game off. I mean, he kind of knocks himself in.
That's a very, really foolproof way to get a run when your leadoff guy reaches.
And he did it in spectacular fashion with a water shot, a splash hit into McCovey Cove.
Second one of the year. The Giants never hit one last year. Bell hit one just a few days ago. And this was the first time that a Giant has led off a game with a splash hit. And that's a double play. Jared Parker was hung out to dry, and I think that was a line drive right at the second baseman Jeanette, but kind of a low one, and I think he thought it was going to bounce in front of him.
Well, you're taught to freeze in a line drive, and sometimes you just kind of forget. You let your instincts take over, and they can deceive you. That really looked like a rock and a hard place for Jared Parker.
So 2 down, and here is Connor Gillespie. And so on. I suppose when he thinks about it, he would just go back because, hey, if the ball bounces, the guy's going to throw you out at second base anyway.
Well, he'll be left to ponder that.
Chase that changeup. It's 0-2.
When a guy makes a mistake like that in the base pass, I mean, he's heard it 1,000 times, but when he gets back to the dugout, he's told again by a coach. Freeze in a line drive. So that's how they stack up the infield defense against Connor Gillespie.
The third baseman, Hill, is now basically the second baseman, and another changeup. Gillespie just could not figure that one out. He's going on 3 pitches. Suarez will come on into the 5th. Home game schedule brought to you by the California Association of Realtors, Champions of Home. Visit championsofhome.com. And all those orange games are the ones where the Giants are home again tomorrow night at 7:15. Wednesday 12:45. Then after a trip to Tampa Bay for 3 and Pittsburgh for 4, back home a week from Friday the 24th with the Philadelphia Phillies coming in. After which the Giants will get started in their Bay Bridge Interleague Series. 2 with Oakland here and then 2 in Oakland. That's the next homestand. Here's Jonathan Lucroy against the new pitcher Albert Suarez, and a first pitch fastball at 93 miles an hour for a strike. Maybe you saw on the out of town hand operated scoreboard, Arizona leading LA 3-2 in the 7th inning. Well, that pitch, it seems like just a little while ago was called a strike by Kerwin Danley.
Yeah, that outside corner of right-handers has been inconsistent tonight. And Albert Suarez just found out that it's a tight strike zone. Suarez has been very good. He's impressed Bruce Bochy.
And there's Panic. That ball was hit real hard, but within the range of Joe Panic, 1 away. Lucroy's 0 for 2 with a bases loaded walk.
The thing about Suarez that has been so impressive is his command of 4 pitches. He's a guy that can give you a low to mid 90s, more mids than lows, with the velocity on 2-seam fastballs, 4-seam fastballs, but he's got a curveball, slider, and a changeup, and he'll throw them all. He'll throw them all 3-2. He can also put the ball on the ground, and that is an asset.
Chris Carter has walked twice in this game. And a pop fly. Here's Blanco. 2 down. Now let's check in with Amy G.
All right, gentlemen, an update on Angel Pagan, who's playing with the AAA River Cats right now. Tonight, he's 1 for 3 with an RBI double so far. He's expected to come back to San Francisco tomorrow and be activated on Wednesday. And a quick note on the bullpen. Bruce Bochy really had to use a lot of his bullpen over this past series against the Dodgers. Asked today if everyone was available. He said if he had his druthers, he'd like to stay away from Casilla, but everyone is available. Gentlemen.
And there's a called strike on the outside to Neuenhuis from Suarez. Thank you, Amy. And that's an excellent point, because he used 16 pitchers in the last 2 games.
Yeah, that's amazing. It really is. Well, granted, one of them was an extra inning game, but it only went 10 innings. I mean, it's not like they were going 19 innings using that many pitchers.
They used 9 pitchers in that game and 7 more last night. 6 relievers to pitch the last 3 innings of the game last night in relief of Jake Peavy. And they got it done. But as Boat said before the game tonight, says that's the problem when you use so many guys mixing and matching like that. Well, guys are going to have to be pitching every day. So,
you know, a lot of those outings are 1 and 2 odd outings, so it doesn't beat up a bullpenner.
Here is Parker, and that's the inning, and that's a 9-pitch inning for Albert Suarez. Well done. Top of the order coming up.
Toyota's Cool Deal Summer Event is here. See your local Toyota dealer for great savings on every dependable Toyota car, SUV, and truck. Hurry and come in before these deals melt away. Toyota, let's go places. Hey, you want to win the ultimate fan experience? In partnership with Comcast Sportsnet, you can enter to win prizes in the Dream Stakes sweepstakes. To enter to win, visit your local Bay Area Dugout store. Grand prizes include throwing out the first pitch, $1,000 shopping spree at the Dugout store, and much, much more. Go to sfgiants.com/dreamstakes.
Top of the order here is Denard Span, who's homered into the water and bunted. And a curveball for a strike. This time, the third baseman, Aaron Hill, played it very shallow.
Well, you've got to take away the bunt once a guy burns you on it.
Just a bit low. 1 ball, 1 strike. This is how he led off the Giants' first inning.
Just a fastball mislocation. They set the outside target. It comes middle in. Well, actually on the inside corner, right above the knees. And this is a water shot, the 70th of this ballpark's history for a Giant.
1-2 as he fouled away the changeup. Joe Panic, Brandon Belk to follow. Span is 2 for 2. There's the total.
It's the first time a Giant hitter has ever done it in a leadoff situation. I think that's pretty cool. So historically, we saw something amazing tonight.
A first in the history of this ballpark. 17th season of Giants baseball here. Anderson gets it, and Span for the first time is retired. 1 away. So here comes Joe Panic, who has tripled and walked. Panic blasted one out toward the 421 side in deep right center. And he scored a run, and then he scored again after his walk in the third inning. And the curveball low and in from Anderson. 4-3. The Giants out in front here in the last of the 5th inning. And he curves him for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Anderson throwing everything really in fastball counts, changeups, curveballs, sliders. But that's the game he has to pitch.
This is Scooter Gennett, out number 2, and Brandon Belt is coming up. And on Wednesday, Brandon Belt got the Giants' first home run into the water in 2 years against David Price. That looked like the same spot that Spans went.
Identical.
The Deepest Drive brought to you by the California Academy of Sciences. Discover Twilight Zone, Deep Reefs Revealed, a new aquarium exhibit at the California Academy of Sciences that explores the ocean's only mysterious deep coral reefs. To learn more and purchase tickets, visit calacademy.org.
Al Strain, our ball dude, the first base side, had a chance to make a play. He needs a little work. Good effort, though.
Ball on a strike to Belt. He's singled home the Giants' 2nd run in the 1st inning, but he struck out in the 3rd. 1-2. Two strikes. The Brewers go into the complete overshift now, and Aaron Hill, the 3rd baseman, moves over to the 2nd base position, and the shortstop VR moves back to shortstop. The 2nd baseman Gennett is in shallow right field. And the fastball, he just shows it to him. 1-2.
But with Aaron Hill, I mean, he played so much second base when he was with the Arizona Diamondbacks. I mean, if he's in that defensive alignment with a runner at first base and he has to turn a pivot at second, he's more than capable of doing it.
He used to be one of the best second basemen defensively in the American League with the Toronto Blue Jays. And when he got to the National League with Arizona, he was still pretty good.
Real good. But Dwayne Kuiper made an observation. Is that, like, you see a lot of guys pull over to that side and they put that 3rd baseman closest to the to second base, when in fact Kuiper says you should have the second baseman come over here and the 3rd baseman go over where the second baseman is, just because if there has to be a pivot turn with a runner at first base and an attempt to make a double play, put the regular second baseman in there. And I think that makes big time sense.
Belt pops it up foul. Another changeup. Stays alive. 3-2 the count. Buster Posey on deck. 2 down, nobody on. Bullpen activity for the Brewers for the first time. Right-hander warming up. There's a pop-up foul and out of play.
It's Corey Knebel down there, the right-hander.
So 3-2 the count to Brandon Belt.
Bring your blanket, bring your hunting sweatshirt, bring your glove. And I think not necessarily in that order.
Into the defense. There's Gennett out in the outfield. And the Giants go down in order here in the 5th. Still 4-3 Giants as we move to the 6th inning. Aaron Hill, sometimes at 2nd, sometimes at 3rd, coming up.
On NBC Bay Area is brought to you by Monterey Bay Aquarium. Submerge yourself at the Monterey Bay Aquarium.org/love. Oh yeah, something always going on in McCovey Cove. Monterey Bay Aquarium. We recommend it highly.
Larry Nibby from the Giants Investors Group just stopped by. He just got back from Hawaii.
16 days.
He did it in an old-timey kind of a way on an ocean voyage on the Crystal Serenity.
Larry Nibby, author of the Larry Nibby Challenge.
There's a called strike to Aaron Hill, leading it off against Albert Suarez here in the 6th inning. The Larry Nibby Challenge, which is
eat a hot dog an inning.
And he wrote a whole book about that. In the 2nd inning, I always like to put mustard, but nothing else, just mustard in the 2nd. You don't want to do too much early in the game. You want to pace yourself. Is that like there's a chapter per inning or what?
Well, yeah.
That was hit hard and misjudged by Parker. Sailed right over his head. That's a double for Aaron Hill.
Well, his first step was in, and then that was it. And no way you're going to get back. And talk about the winds in this ballpark. You're getting carry, and even on a line drive, you'll see a ball get over the head of an outfielder. And if your first step is wrong, no time to regroup. So it's a 2-base mistake.
The Milwaukee bullpen is still busy. Off the glove of Belt, and that's going to get the tying run home. And it's a double for Flores. 4-4. So the Brewers turn that double into a run right now. Brandon Belt was playing shortened up right near the first base bag and could not get up far enough to grab that one. And the Brewers now are going to pinch hit for their pitcher. This game is tied at 4. Consecutive doubles to start the inning. Alex Presley is the pinch hitter. So Anderson is finished for the night. And a changeup, 0-1. Knebel is still warming up in the Milwaukee bullpen. Four to 4 in the 6th. The Giants had a 2-0 lead. The Brewers tied it in the 3rd. Then they had a 4-2 lead. The Brewers made it 4-3 in the 4th. Now it's 4-4 here in the 6th. And if I'm the Milwaukee skipper right there, I'm not that happy. Craig Counsell, with nobody out, runner at second, you've got to be looking to pull the ball, don't you? You can't be just waving at one and hitting it to the left side. You got to get that runner over to third.
You do. It's the very least you could accomplish in this at bat.
Got to get him to third. And Crawford to third. The tag by Duffy, and he's out.
That's a great play. I mean, that's a game changer. And it's high score. Are you kidding me? Right between the legs of Albert Suarez. Brandon Crawford gets this ball, knowing full well that Flores is fast, but he broke on the play. There would be an opportunity. He looked at third base immediately. Never even thought of first base. And a nice catch and tag by Duffy. It's a big out.
So now a runner at first and one out. And ordinarily, that's kind of a ball, if you're the hitter, that you get the guy over to third base on. But Brandon Crawford is no ordinary shortstop. The ball was hit very hard. Leadoff man VR, who's had 2 hits and a run scored in this game. But with Presley at first base now. Matt Duffy plays shallow at third. Brewers have had 2 bunt hits on the third base side tonight. Along the left field line, toward the corner goes Parker, and he gets there as the wind started to blow that one away from him. He had to arch his back. Little Erdvedanyarasana yoga move there to catch that one.
That's a great description of it. And it just gives you an idea of how tough the winds are tonight. I mean, they have been horrendous on infielders, outfielders. This ball coming back, and really a nice recovery from Parker, who almost overruns the play. Camp, now all of a sudden you got to come back, and in the end he puts it right in the sweet spot. Whew.
So Presley tagged up and got himself to second. 2 down. Here is Jeanette, who's had 2 hits. Curveball. No low strike there.
That's a good pitch.
Jeanette is flied out to right center, and then he got a bunt single in the 3rd inning and an RBI double to right field in the 4th inning. 4-4 the score here in the 6th. Back to the screen. 1 ball, 1 strike. Jeanette hitting .267 for the year. He's always been real tough against right-handed pitching in particular. Although this year, for the first time, he's actually hitting about the same, whether it's against lefties or righties. Used to be that his splits were so set to the one side, they used to bench him against lefties. No longer, as he fouls this one back. 1-2.
Well, we've seen him now in 2 series. We haven't seen him take a bad swing. I mean, he really had a nice series against the Giants in Milwaukee. But he hit on hard times, and he went through a long slump, and there was a time where they really thought about taking him out of the lineup. But tonight, his at-bats have been solid.
A ball and 2 strikes. Possible go-ahead run at second, and he struck him out. Wow.
Oh, what was that?
He suffered a terrible injury on that swing.
Wow.
Posey coming up. Zuckerberg San Francisco General Hospital and Trauma Center. San Francisco's new hospital is open for you with compassionate, welcoming, and world-class care. ZSFGcare.org. Tigers and White Sox in Chicago 9-9 in the 11th. Kansas City edged Cleveland 2-1 in Kansas City. And as we check out the other part of the out-of-town hand-operated scoreboard here, across the bay, the Oakland Athletics and the Texas Rangers, and they're still posting the rest of that score. It is 14-2 Oakland. The A's did a lot better than the Warriors over there tonight. Minnesota over the Angels 9-3 down in Southern California as Buster Posey takes ball one. The Arizona D-backs lead the Dodgers back as Zach Greinke 3-2 in the top of the 8th inning. Miami clobbering San Diego down at Petco Park 12-3. Buster, 1 ball, no strikes. Corey Knebel, the new pitcher for Milwaukee, and that misses for ball 2. The Nationals back of the big right-hander beat the Chicago Cubs 4-1 in that ball game in Washington. As a great night for Max Scherzer. And there's a ball too low, and it's 3-0. The Reds over the Braves and the Phillies over the Blue Jays. How about that? The Phillies went to Toronto, one of the great powers in the American League. The Blue Jays, they got shut out by the Phillies in their home ballpark.
Wow. With that offense.
That's a 4-pitch walk for Buster Posey. So the new pitcher comes in and walks the first man he faces.
Take a look at the numbers for Knebel. Just in a couple of outings, it hasn't really gone that smooth for him. 5 base runners allowed.
By the way, in Toronto tonight, that was Jared Eichhoff. They got a lot of young players in that team, and Eichhoff, one of the young starting pitchers, and apparently he's pretty good. Got a 3.4 earned run average, 6 shutout innings against the Jays tonight, and then the bullpen did the rest. They've got a guy named I think it's Hector Neris is a setup man, and he's been fabulous. Matt Duffy, 1 ball and no strikes, is the new Milwaukee pitcher, has yet to throw a strike. Knebel looking for that strike zone. That's a base hit to right field. And over to third base goes Buster Posey.
One of the best at going to right field in the business. Matt Duffy, one of the league's leaders at hitting balls to right field as a right-handed hitter. Gets a fastball, just goes right with it off of Knebel, and it really sets up a nice inning here. And that's what Duffy does when he's swinging it well. He'll use that side of the field with authority. Knebel's a guy who'll give you a good fastball too, mid to high 90s with velocity. He's got a hard curveball and a changeup. 24 years of age. Still a little over a year's time at the big league level.
Runners at first and third, nobody out. The infield double play depth, and that's into left field. Back Braun tagging Buster Posey. He's going to score as the throw goes in towards second. 5-4 Giants.
And just like that, Giants retake the lead. I mean, you know, when you watch a guy hit a fly ball deep enough to score a run from third, you just take it for granted. You think, well, that's such an easy thing to do. It's not. Because number one, the guy's usually in the strikeout mode. He's going to give you his best stuff to try and strike you out, and that's what you have to beat. And I like what Crawford did against a guy he doesn't have a lot of history with. He's looking for something early in the count. He took advantage of a challenge.
Brandon Crawford, who had a great month of May driving in runs, and he just picked up his 34th RBI of the season. So here's Jarrett Parker, who has struck out and walked. And there's ball 1 from Knebel. Giants bullpen gets busy. Derek Law, a right-hander, is up. There he is alongside Mark Gardner, pointing out some of the hitters he might be facing if in fact he does get in. Blanco on deck, and then the pitcher spot after him. One out, runner at first, and there's a strike to Parker.
Yeah, that's the low strike too, and he's a low ball hitter. So he takes a fastball in a 1-0 count, and it's low, and it's away. It tells you one thing: he's looking middle in.
Duffy back to the bag at first.
If you don't know a pitcher and you don't have a lot of history against him, I mean, you know what he throws. You've never actually seen it. But a guy who can go mid to high 90s with fastball velocity, guys are going to go up there and they're going to look for one thing. They're going to look fastball.
And Duffy dives back to the bag again. The Brewers playing Parker to pull on the infield, but not the outfield. You see how they have the shortstop VR almost behind second base. The third baseman Hill stays in on the edge of the grass, wide of third. Duffy, who runs well, edging away from first. Knebel throws. It's too low.
And if you're going to look pure fastball, I mean, you're going to look either in or out. I mean, some guys will tell you they look for the ball, the hand. They'll look at the middle, but I don't believe that. And I think more guys at the big league level look middle away with the fastball than they do look middle in. I think that's the difference between amateur baseball and the big leagues. It's where guys look when they look fastball.
Well, he got a fastball, and maybe it was a little faster than he was hoping.
No, you're right. I mean, that's the challenge he was looking for. For a guy with power, I mean, you couldn't ask for a better pitch to have at.
Knebel brought that one at 95 miles an hour. Carter holding on the bag at first with Duffy, opening that hole on the right side a little bit for a left-handed hitter. There goes Duffy, and it's a foul.
Oh yeah, good job. And we applaud Matt Duffy when you start talking about what he does on the base paths just about every night. And it boils down to one thing: he gets such a great first step. And I think true baseball players, guys who have high baseball IQs, you can see a great first step on defense, and you can see a great first step on the base paths. Now he knows Knebel's slow out of the stretch. He's going to give you a chance to get a good jump if you're a base deal. I would be surprised to see him go again.
2-2 the count to Parker. He's running. Curve is very high. Lucroy throws it into center field. And Duffy gets up and goes to third.
.49 seconds. That's what it took. Once Knebel started his motion for it to get to Jonathan Lucroy, the catcher. And that is very slow. And he got a great pitch to jump on, a slow breaking ball. Lucroy had to hurry to throw. It goes wide. It winds up being a catcher's error, but you really can point your finger at the pitcher because he was the cause of everything. So Lucroy is just trying to get the ball down there as fast as he can.
He didn't even get up to his feet. He basically threw it dropping to his knees. So now the Brewers bring the infield in. The Giants have a run home. They lead 5-4. And now Duffy at third base with only one out. 3-2 to Parker. The breaking ball, he got a piece of it to fight it off. Still 3-2. Matt Duffy got his 8th steal of the year. Duffy leads the Giants now in stolen bases.
Knebel trying to do one thing, trying to strike out Jared Parker.
Parker strikes out a lot, needing to put the ball in play here. Fastball, wow. Right there at the knees.
Yeah, this is all part of knowing your umpire strike zone, and we've seen the low strike called. This is not a surprise. This is not anything that we haven't seen earlier in the game. In a 2-strike situation with a run at third base, you have to expand your zone. You cannot get turned back to the dugout without getting that bat off your shoulder. And that's a frustrating at bat for Parker and the Giants. Also provides Gregor Blanco an opportunity to pick his teammate up. He gets a base hit here. That strikeout is forgotten.
Ramiro Pena out in the on-deck circle now, with the pitcher due up next. Derek Law warming up in the bullpen. Runner at third, 2 down. Knebel back to work. In the dirt, blocked by Lucroy.
Well, obviously Knebel not afraid to throw that breaking ball in the dirt with Lucroy back there and runner at third.
Another breaking ball and a great save by Lucroy.
Yeah, I think he's one of the best ball blockers in the game, and he proves it here. I mean, this is a scud. This thing is out there bouncing just about at the front edge of the home plate. Ball bounces that far out in front of you as a catcher, it's going to come up high, and that makes it unpredictable. And still, he makes a beautiful play.
Knebel, 6 feet 4 inches tall, very long legs. From the stretch, 2-0, 3-0. Giants ahead 5-4 here in the 6th inning. And now they're going to make it an intentional walk. Well, I guess that does a couple of things. As there's going to be a visit to the mound from the pitching coach, Derek Johnson. It was almost as if they were saying, even though Pena's out on deck, Craig Counsell was saying, I don't think Bruce Bochy really wants to take his other pitcher out. And as it turns out, he was right. Pena's going back to the dugout, and there's Albert Suarez, who is going to bat.
So the deke did not work. Now, we've talked about Albert Suarez. When we watch him take batting practice, I mean, he puts on a pretty good show. And he's not been able to take that same type of swing in BP and apply it to game time at bats.
Suarez with Duffy at third, Blanco at first, 2 down. He got the call on the outside, 0-1. There goes Blanco, and Lucroy doesn't even pretend like he's interested in whether Blanco's stealing or not.
You're right. I don't think he was interested. They got a pitcher up there who's got one big league hit, and they're just basically going to concentrate on him.
A 1-ball 1-strike count to Suarez after the steal by Blanco. The Giants have stolen a couple of bases in the inning. Blanco gets his 3rd steal of the year. So Suarez now could knock in a couple of runs with a base hit to the outfield. Craig Counsell, Milwaukee manager, took over in midseason last year. 2-1. Knebel is almost as if saying, well, which guy was I supposed to pitch around again?
Well, it's not the guy with one career base hit.
Because this guy looks pretty formidable standing in at the plate, doesn't he? Maybe he caught him taking batting practice earlier on. Two and two, the foul ball over toward the Giants dugout.
I mean, that's a pretty good swing. I said to him today, listen, I've been telling everybody here you can hit a little bit. He goes, no, don't say that. Okay. Put pressure on you. But when you watch him take BP, it's like, oh yeah, he's got a clue with the bat.
2 balls, 2 strikes to count. Runners at second and third, 2 down. Struck him out. The hook, the equalizer. The Giants get to 1, and we head to the 7th with Ryan Braun coming up. 5-4 Giants. Brought to you in part by Black Oak Casino Resort. Nestled in the beautiful Sierra foothills is Black Oak Casino Resort, your base camp for endless outdoor activities and exciting casino action. Book a luxury room at blackoakcasino.com.
Well, for comprehensive coverage of everything orange and black, check out Pregame Live and Postgame Live before and after every regular season Giants telecast on CSN Bay Area, authentic Bay Area sports.
It's 5-4 Giants. Giants got a run in the last of the 6th inning, knocked in by Brandon Crawford. Buster Posey scored the run. So now Albert Suarez to face the power for the Brewers. Braun, Lucroy, and Carter. 3 guys in a row who can all hit the long ball. And that's a strike call to the outside to Braun, who was grounded out to second. Had a base hit that bounced off the leg of Matt Cain. That was in the 3rd inning. He hit the ball 105 miles an hour. And then he grounded out to third his last time. He's 1 for 3. And that curve hangs up and in. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Better to hang it up and in than up and over the plate. Braun, very good mistake hitter. Very good hitter, period.
Nope. 2-1. And Suarez is, he always looked kind of cool and calm out there in the mound.
He does. Good demeanor.
Two and two.
Just staying on that outside part of the plate.
That caused Braun to take a walk.
Action in the Brewers bullpen. That's Blaine Boyer, the right-hander.
Belt, he got it. Suarez covers, out.
Nice play. They had moved Belt off the line, so he had to go hard to his left. And it was going to be a backhand. It was just a matter of how is he going to stay on his feet. Well, he couldn't do it. Now it's a matter of how am I going to get the throw off. It's from the knees. You always want to try and give your pitcher a throw above the belt when you're throwing it overhand. It's not an easy thing to do. Nice job by everybody involved. Big first out.
Now Lucroy, the cleanup hitter, who was grounded out to short, drawn a bases loaded walk, getting an RBI, and he grounded out to second his last time. So he's 0 for 2 officially. 1 out, nobody on. Curveball, low. 5-4. Giants leading in the 7th. Albert Suarez, who's from Venezuela, and although he's 26 years old, this is his 9th year in professional baseball. He broke in all the way back in 2008 in the Tampa Bay Rays organization. High in the air along the right field line, Blanco, and it's into the crowd. You can't give up on a ball like that because the winds will often blow a ball like that back away from the stands toward the field.
You know, one thing I'm really surprised that they're allowing to happen is that the Brewers have left the ball bag out there behind the mound in the Brewers bullpen. I mean, that's an obstacle. I mean, that could come into play. That really shouldn't be allowed to stay there.
I think the umpires, I guess they just haven't even noticed it, but I'm sure they would order them to remove that if they noticed it. Lee Tunnell, former relief pitcher himself, is the bullpen coach there in the jacket. He knows better than that. Or I guess he doesn't.
Well,
2-2.
The Brewers bullpen behind the outfield fence in Milwaukee, I mean, I'm sure that's one thing that he's used to having. But here it's in the field of play, as is the rosin bag, as is the spike cleaner. I mean, those are all things that the Brewers bring with them. But all that stuff should be moved. That's in play.
Right along the third base line. That's a fair ball. Duffy. And it's a hit for Lucroy, who was moving very quickly on that one and got himself the hit. But it would have been a double down the line had Duffy not been able to intercept it.
Didn't look like Duffy was comfortable standing up. There's a nice play to his right. And you think with the catcher running, you might have a chance. Okay, that's a good job from Brandon Belt not to let that ball get by him. Boy, beautiful. He saved a 2-base hit right there. Even if he couldn't make the play, he saves a double. And another good play from Bell on the back end of it.
So here's Chris Carter, dangerous power hitter, 17 home runs. And it's ball one. Nolan Arenado of the Rockies leading the league with 19 homers. Carter tied for second. You know who he's tied for second with?
Who?
Adam Duvall.
How about that?
The former Giant. He's been on a home run tear with the Cincinnati Reds this year. 1 ball, no strikes to big Chris Carter. Out over the plate, but fouled back to the screen.
Well, good for Adam Duvall. He was a good guy when we got to know him. He came up through the Giants organization. Get a chance to play every day, taking advantage of it.
And he plays his home games in a ballpark well suited to his swing or any other guy with power.
Well, that was a break for Duvall to get traded to Cincinnati. He's from Kentucky.
Kentucky, right across the river from the great American ballpark. Back to the screen. Well, he's throwing pitches out away, letting him get his arms extended here.
Yeah, that was kind of a scary pitch. I mean, you don't like to get Carter extended middle away with something that's got high velocity on it, because he can hit out of any ballpark. I don't care how much wind is in his face.
1-2 the count. Struck him out, chasing the breaking ball. 2 down. Very well thrown. Let's once again check in with Amy G.
Well, John, you were saying that Albert Suarez looks so calm on the mound, and somebody who agrees with you, Bruce Bochy, he recently compared him actually to his fellow countryman and former Giants pitcher Yusmeiro Petit. He said that Suarez actually reminds him of Petit, the way that they look so comfortable, how they throw their strikes. He said they're similar in personality, and he said he hopes that he is like a Yusmeiro Petit. Gentlemen?
Thanks, Amy. That's a very good point, and I think that Yusmeiro Petit was a very important member of this pitching staff for a few years. They would have not even gotten to the World Series in 2014 without him.
One of the greatest relief performances in Giants history. The playoffs with the Washington Nationals in Washington, the 18-inning game, 6 scoreless innings.
He came in during extra innings and pitched through the 17th inning, got the win in that game. Brandon Belt's 18th inning home run. It gave the Giants a 2-0 lead in that best-of-5 series. And he was a weapon. Other teams didn't have a guy like Yusmeiro Petit coming out of the bullpen who could go 6 innings in relief if you needed him to. And he had other games in that postseason where he did similar things. 3 2/3, 4 innings. 2-1 the count now to Nieuwenhuis.
Well, tonight Albert Suarez attempting to do that very thing.
And there are several guys that Bruce Bochy would like to avoid using tonight. Change up off the outside. 3-1.
Nieuwenhuis, a very patient hitter. Not afraid to take a walk. And in a one-run ball game, you do not want to walk a runner into second base, which if Nieuwenhuis walks, that's what's going to happen with Lucroy, who runs pretty well. He would be at second.
Nieuwenhuis has 31 hits and 24 walks this year. Lucroy back to the bag at first. 3-1 the count. Lucroy is the possible tying run. We're in the 7th. 2 down. And a big pitch upcoming right here. 3 balls, 1 strike. Crawford way over, almost up the middle at shortstop. Well, got the call that time. 3-2.
It's a borderline pitch. We haven't seen many called that wide all night long. But Nieuwenhuis looked to me like he was taken all the way.
Three and two. Lucroy runs. Brandon Crawford over the first in time. Strong throw, and Nieuwenhuis runs well. 5-4 Giants. Top of the order, Span coming up.
Pack presented by Chevron. The pack includes 4 tickets to the July 4th game against the Colorado Rockies, plus a $25 Chevron gas card starting at just $99 while the supplies last. For more information, go to sfgiants.com/July4.
There is Blaine Boyer, the right-hander, one-time Atlanta Brave, with a 2.03 earned run average.
He's having a good season. The Brewers like their bullpen, and Boyer, one of the reasons why. Let's see, a low to mid-90s fastball, curveball, slider, changeup, 4-pitch guy out of the pen.
And a slow tap. Scooter Gennett right from the glove to Carter for the putout. So just like that, there is one away. Span led off the game with a home run into the water in right field. The first time in the history of this ballpark that a Giants leadoff man launched one into the water to start a game. Then he walked, or I beg your pardon, he beat out a bunt in the 3rd inning to start a 2-run rally. The Giants lead 5-4. Joe Panic takes a called strike.
Now this is a great dog right here. That's right. Skateboarding dog. You see it all the time. That's a good pup right there. And then he shoots it back. Hey, get it going again. Come on. Oh, yeah.
He did. It's almost like he has a pet boy. Here, you try it.
I love it.
A ball and 2 strikes now to Joe Panic, who has tripled and scored a run, walked and scored a run, grounded out his last time. Giants ahead 5-4, last of the 7th. The Warriors were beaten across the bay by Cleveland, and now they'll have to go back to Cleveland for a game 6 in the NBA Finals. Playing tonight without Draymond Green, and Andrew Bogut got hurt during that game. Into left field, shallow. Ryan Braun, 2 down.
Still ticked off about that suspension to Draymond Green. But hey, series continues. Draymond Green's going to get a nice warm welcome when he gets back to Cleveland too.
Here's Brandon Belt, who has singled home a run, struck out and grounded out to second. And the Brewers overload against him on the right side. 3 infielders to the right. Boyer and Belt pops it up back to third. This could be trouble, and it's going to fall for a base hit.
Well, you watched him leave the batter's box, and he looked a bit disgusted. But hey, bottom line, it's a big league knock and a little 2-out rally. Watch the Gumby shoulders. And all of a sudden, hey, we got action. With Ryan Braun in left field, respecting the power of Brandon Belt, opened up a little hole for a Texas leaguer, and he finds it.
So now Buster Posey grounded out to third his first time, but then he ripped a double down the left field line to knock in a run back in the 3rd, and walked and scored a run in the 6th. Pulled foul. 0-1.
Nice play.
Down to the field level party suite.
Although a blue glove is a violation. Let's watch how he uses it. Good pick. Bert Strainer, ball dude. I think he wanted a chance. He waited all night for that play.
1 strike to Posey. Belt at first, 2 down. In that game in Arizona tonight, Paul Goldschmidt had a home run and then apparently hit another. And then they sent it to New York for the replay review, and they took away the second home run. So he has just the 1 home run there. Goldschmidt has started coming alive with the bat as we knew he would. Ball 2 to Buster.
Yeah, the same thing is happening to Buster Posey. Swings have been better this homestand. His hands starting to feel better. Really was nursing a nerve problem in his right thumb that really affected his swing.
Two and 1 the count with Belt at first. Strike 2. In the third, this is the double that he crunched down the left field line.
Well, and it was how he did it, the type of pitch that he hit too, that was so impressive. And that really wasn't a bad pitch from Chase Anderson. I mean, that was a sinker that was really boring in, and I think when he finally got to it, it was off the plate. But yet he still managed to stay inside of it and launch it into left field. When he's going good, he's doing that.
And Belt is back to the bag at first. The infield swung around toward the third base side. The shortstop, VR, way over into the hole toward third. Jeanette, the second baseman, well over toward the middle. So they're not in the big overshift, but definite shift toward third. And Buster hits it to Jeanette, who makes a fabulous play, but the throw is not in time.
Well, A for effort from Scooter Jeanette. I mean, he did save a first and third situation. But I'd love to see a catcher leg out an infield single like this. It's just something that just is not an easy thing to do when you've been in the squad all night long and string a lot of complete games together without a lot of days off, and yet you still have enough in your legs to beat out a base hit in the infield. Job well done, Buster Posey.
And that gives Matt Duffy a chance to do some damage. Duffy has knocked in a run with a sacrifice fly to right. That was in the third inning. And he got a base hit to right field in the sixth. Well, Buster, with his catcher's legs.
Well, not a lot of backswing, so he gets out of the box well. And he's sniffing base hits. So if you're ever going to get a time on a guy, that's the time to do it. And now, if you're Duffy, you try to take advantage of it.
Called a strike. Belt at second, Posey at first.
It's one of the better backup sliders we've seen in a while.
One ball, one strike. So the backup slider, he throws it like a slider. It looks like a slider to the hitter, but doesn't do much sliding.
Well, it's a cement mixer. It doesn't do anything. It's a great mistake, and I've yet to meet a guy that can do that on purpose. I mean, in his mind, he's going to try and throw a slider with a nice break to it, and then it just doesn't do anything. But in the eye of a hitter, they see the spin on a slider and they expect it to break. And then when it doesn't break, they get jammed or they take it. Winds up being a great pitch. If anybody could teach how to do that every time, you'd have a job for life. Just a great mistake is what it is.
2-1 the count. And a foul off the facing of the upper deck to the right. 2-2. In the ninth inning in Arizona, it's 3-2 Arizona leading the Dodgers. Ziegler, who got out of a bases loaded 1-out jam in the eighth inning, back to try and save it in the ninth. Here 5-4 Giants, 2 on 2 out. That's foul. Brandon Crawford is on deck. Giants got 2 in the first. Milwaukee tied it with 2 in the third. The Giants got 2 of their own in the last of the third to go back ahead 4-2. Milwaukee made it 4-3 in the fourth, tied it in the sixth, and then the Giants promptly untied it on a Brandon Crawford sacrifice fly in the last of the sixth. 5-4 Giants, 2 on 2 out in the seventh. Really jammed him, hit very softly, and the bases are loaded. It was all or nothing for Aaron Hill. He went for the barehanded pickup, couldn't do it.
Well, if you're Blaine Boyer, the pitcher for the Brewers, you got to feel like you're getting beat up with a wet noodle. I mean, this is full-on ground attack. Aaron Hill knew he had to hurry the play, and it was going to be a do or die to the bare hand. And even if he comes up with it cleanly, I'm not sure he could get Duffy. So a bloop single, an infield single, and an infield single. And it sets it up for Brandon Crawford.
And Milwaukee gets the bullpen going. Martinez, the right-hander, starts to throw. Bases loaded. Brandon Crawford has knocked in a run tonight. 1-1.
First pitch curveball from Boyer.
Crawford is flied out to right center. Struck out, and then he hit the sacrifice fly to left in the sixth inning to put the Giants ahead. Now a chance to help them pad the lead here. Belt at third, Posey at second, Duffy at first. 2 down. Strike 2 call.
Oh, that's a gift. Set a target on the outside corner. That's a nice frame job from LaCroix. He got that strike.
You know, the new analytics that with which they try to gauge a catcher's framing ability. Buster Posey's always among the leaders in that category, and LaCroix is very high on that list this year. 0-2. He hit that one sharply right toward the Giants' dugout.
Well, the second strike dictated him swinging at that one. That's that white strike is called. If it goes out there again, you have to cover it as a hitter with 2 strikes. You have to. The Bronco let the plate umpire know there was a ball loose behind home plate. There we go.
0-2 the count to Brandon Crawford. Bases loaded, 2 down in the inning. Broken bat, base hit to center. Belt scores. Here comes Buster. 2 runs are scored as the throw hits the mound, and Brandon Crawford has knocked in 3, and the Giants now lead by 3.
And the wet noodle thrashing continues. And it winds up being a 2-strike, 2-out knock that puts 2 runs on the board. Broken bat single. This is a thing of beauty. And if you're Blaine Boyer, you got to wonder, what did I do wrong?
Well, Brandon Crawford has become a very reliable RBI man. With the sacrifice fly in the 6th to get the go-ahead run home. Now he adds 2 more here. Down in the count, 0-2. So here is Parker. Ball 1. Final from Arizona. Ziegler was able to hang on to it, and the D-backs beat the Dodgers 3-2. Zach Greinke got his 9th win of the year for his new team, and he beat his old team to get it. Bolsinger took the loss there. 1-1. A weird pitch to swing at because he looked like he was desperate to somehow not let it go by, even though there were no strikes on him.
Well, you're right. It kind of looked like an emergency swing, not the kind of swing you want to have if you're a power hitter sitting at a 1-0 count.
Duffy at second, Crawford at first.
And again, another half swing. You watch Jared Parker, he's kind of a nervous hitter. I mean, a lot of movement, a lot of things going on to try and get right, get that good feeling that you want to have as you get ready to get off a swing.
He's been called out on strikes twice in this game, and he's walked once. Just missed. 2-2. Seven to 4 Giants in the 7th inning. 4 straight Giants have reached base after 2 were down. And curve in the dirt. 3-2. Ichiro, meanwhile, down at Petco Park, got his 3rd hit of the game, number 4,255 in his outstanding career, closing in on 3,000 hits in Major League Baseball, and the combined total with what he did in Japan, 4,255, one behind Pete Rose, who has the I guess you could say the world record. The Major League record is secure, that's for sure. There go the runners, and it's ball 4 to Parker. And the bases are loaded. Gregor Blanco coming up, and the Brewers, Craig Counsell's going to make a double switch. The pitcher is due up 3rd in the 8th inning. So he explains it all, the moves he's going to make. It's actually Marinas. There's a tilde over the end, so Marinas will come into pitch with the bases loaded, 2 down, and Blanco, the lefty, coming up. We'll be back. As CSN Bay Area, we want to remind you, has complete Giants coverage on Sportsnet Central every night at 10:30. CSN Authentic Bay Area Sports. Got a little scissors paper rock going on out there. How come we never play that?
We got to start.
Oh, paper covers rock.
Yep. Scissors cut paper.
So here's Yan Marinez, the new pitcher. The right fielder Flores has moved to center field. Neuenhuis out of the game, and a new right fielder has come in. Blanco, first ball swinging, and that's through. Base hit. Duffy scores. Here comes Crawford right behind him. Over to third base goes Parker. Just a big bouncer that got past Chris Carter. Greeting the new pitcher Marinez, and it is 9-4 Giants on a 2-run single by Blanco.
Well, this whole rally started with 2 outs. I mean, that's the thing that really makes a manager and a hitting coach smile. So jumping on the first pitch from Marinez, and Marinez has got good stuff. He's got a guy who's really done a nice job for Craig Counsell and the Brewers bullpen. So an easy score for Duffy, an easy score for Crawford. Stand-up style.
Hernan Perez was the one who fielded that ball in right field. He's the new right fielder, and he'll slot 9th in the lineup. He'll be due up 3rd in the 8th inning. So here is Albert Suarez. 0-1. Marinez, acquired from Tampa Bay in the American League back on May the 12th. He got into 3 games with the Rays and acquired in a trade. He'd been with Florida, the White Sox, and Tampa Bay before getting to Milwaukee. He was back in 2011 part of a trade that included the manager Ozzie Guillen. And Ozzie went to Miami to become the manager. 0-2 the count. Suarez is 0 for 1. Well, Bruce Bochy, things look a little bit more copacetic now. The Giants 4 runs in.
He's not used to 5-run leads. It's got to feel pretty good for him.
Got a piece of it.
Well, Marinez, good stuff. I mean, he's a mid to high 90s fastball with a hard slider.
Giants got a run to go ahead 5-4 in the 6th inning. And now a rather unlikely 4-run rally, starting as it did with 2 down and nobody on in this inning. Then Belt got a base hit, just a pop-up behind third that nobody could get to. Buster Posey beat out an infield hit. And then Matt Duffy beat out an infield hit to load the bases. Crawford blooped a single into shallow center for 2 runs. Struck him out. The Giants bat around. There's the pop-up hit by Belt to start the inning. Buster's infield hit, safe. And Duffy's infield hit. Couldn't handle it. The bloop single for 2 runs from Brandon Crawford. And then finally Blanco, bounding ball right through the hole. 2 more. A 4-run rally. It's now 9-4 Giants.
in Bay Area tomorrow night at 6:30 for Giants pregame live before Game 2 of this series. We'll be back with you on NBC Bay Area and the Giants Television Network 2 weeks from tonight at 7 o'clock for the Giants and A's right here from AT Park. See us in Bay Area tomorrow night, and it's going to feature Madison Bumgarner on the hill as he will take on Matt Garza.
Bumgarner is on a roll right now. His earned run average for the season at 1.88 as Suarez goes to work. Back to the screen off the bat of Aaron Hill, who has grounded into an inning-ending double play, struck out looking, and then he doubled, leading off the 6th inning. There's Bumgarner, who goes tomorrow. Of course, when he pitches, that means he's going to hit, which is a great show all by itself. 1 ball, 1 strike. Bumgarner's got 2 home runs so far this year, 5 runs batted in. 2 homers and a double he's hit. Popped up foul and back out of play. A ball and 2 strikes now to Aaron Hill. The Giants ahead with 9 runs and 11 hits. The Brewers 4 runs, 8 hits. 9 runs. That's like 3 games worth of runs for the Giants.
Yeah, what's up with that? I kind of like this. I could get used to it. Really, and you look back, and we talked about it earlier, the Giants' last 12 games have hit 192 as a team, so they have been struggling to score runs. Remarkable in those 12 games, their record was 6-6, but tonight the hits have fallen.
That ball is smoked into left field. Aaron Hill, a solid base hit, his 2nd hit of the night. And that will bring up Flores. And Hernan Perez, who went into play right field as part of the double switch, is out on deck. Here's Flores, who's been on base twice with a walk and a double. Whoa. Called a ball.
Not by much. If you're worried about the pitch count with Suarez, don't. He's got 85, 90 pitches in his arm. Easy.
It's in there for a strike.
Pretty much the same location. 1-0 changeup. So we know that particular spot in the strike zone is kind of a coin toss as to whether or not it's going to be a ball or a strike. The one thing we were impressed with Albert Suarez, as we've been learning him, is that he can put the ball on the ground. His last outing as a starter, he had 14 outs by way of the ground ball. And he's looking for one right here.
Blanco plays that one on a bounce. And it's a base hit for Flores, putting 2 men on. And now Hernan Perez will come up, and Dave Righetti is going to go out to the mound. I think for Bruce Bochy, the best case scenario is that Suarez finishes this game.
Well, you're right. It would give a bullpen a night's rest. And as we say that, there's some activity now heading down to the Giants bullpen. Looks like it's going to be Josh Osich starting to get up.
And Suarez started the first game of this homestand for the Giants last Tuesday against the Boston Red Sox. Top offense in all of Major League Baseball so far this year, and he pitched very well. He gave up 3 runs, one of those after he had been taken out of the game, and only 2 earned runs in 6 and a third innings in that game. It was his 2nd start. He also started the week before in Atlanta, and he'd been a starting pitcher throughout his career. in the minor leagues, including earlier this year for Sacramento. And Perez lays off. That one is low for ball one. Perez hitting .307 off the Brewers bench in 88 at bats. 3 home runs. Hernan. Hernan. Hill at second. Flores at first. Back to the screen. Matt Cain in his return from the, there's a cheesehead.
I learned something about that. I didn't know. Everybody in the state of Wisconsin has one of those.
What they're issued at birth or what?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Or it's a certain birthday. You turn 16, you get a cheesehead.
That's it.
Matt Duffy. There's one at second. Panic to first. Not in time. Ball was not hit that hard in the first place. Turns out Perez runs well. Hill moves over to third. Flores out at second.
And there's one of those ground balls that Flores was looking for. Let's take a look at the end of this play as to whether or not the Giants will review it. They will not. Easy call.
I checked in with Sean Dunston and Chad Chop down in the video room in the clubhouse. So here is the leadoff man, Jonathan Villar, who's had 2 singles in 4 at bats. And a foul off the left field line.
We are not an easy guy to double up.
He's grounded into only 2 double plays. He's had 230 official at bats. In addition to all the walks, he's walked 35 times, been hit by a pitch. High and tight, that bends him back. 1 ball, 1 strike. 9-4, the Giants ahead. They got a little security going here.
That was seagull control right there.
Did it work?
Yeah, I think he's working on it.
Left field. Parker started in, now has to go back. Catches up to it. A run will score. Tagging up Hill. He's across, and it's 9-5. Parker's had a very exciting night out there in left field. He misjudged a ball hit by Hill in the 6th inning. It went for a double, and he almost misjudged this one.
Well, you can see the wind whipping on his uniform. It has hit. It's been anything but easy this entire homestand, and that's going to be the last guy that Suarez faces.
Ball hit very hard by Villar for the sacrifice fly. So Osich will come in with Scooter Gennett coming up. Runner at first. 9-5 Giants, and we'll be right back. Has come on In relief of Albert Suarez, Josh Osich, and he inherits a runner. Hernan Perez at first base. You see Osich numbers as he comes in here to face the left-handed hitting Scooter Gennett.
Oh, such a hard thrower. You're going to see low to mid 90s. Slider to change up. Every fastball he throws, two seamers, lots of sink, and he gets ground balls.
Right there in the outside corner. 0-1. Giants 9 runs, 11 hits. Milwaukee 5 runs, 10 hits. A ball and a strike. With Ryan Braun on deck, Derek Law, a right-hander, is up in the bullpen. If Braun has a chance to bat in this inning, he could make it a 9-8 game with one swing of the bat. In the dirt outside, 2-1. Tomorrow's game, 7:15 once again. Game 2 of the series. And Madison Bumgarner on the mound for the Giants against Matt Garza. Off the disabled list to make that start tomorrow night. Bumgarner talking to Anthony Reyes, Giants assistant trainer. Well, he's behind now, 3-1.
Well, when you have a 4-run lead, the last thing you want to do coming out of the bullpen is walk somebody. And you see the final in Arizona John was talking about. It's not been a good road trip for the Dodgers.
And they were beaten by their former ace right-hander, Zach Greinke. Well, he does walk him. And that's been a problem here for a while for Osich. He just doesn't know where the ball's going. And so the Brewers' top slugger, Ryan Braun, will come up with a chance to do some serious damage here with 2 men on. The Giants ahead 9-5. Derek Law in for the bullpen. We'll come back right away. The Giants 9, the Brewers 5. 2 men on. Cool and windy here at AT&T Park. Some Ghirardelli hot chocolate right there. If I'm sitting down there with those blankets, I'm getting me some of that.
Yeah, maybe 2.
So here is Law and Ryan Braun. A very, very dangerous hitter, a former National League MVP. High and foul, out of play off the right field line.
So staying away from the fastball with the first pitch. Law's got 4 pitches: a fastball, curveball, slider, changeup. And he's got the all important first strike. So now he can pitch to a corner.
Braun, who had 5 years in a row with over 100 RBIs. That ball in the dirt. Caught rather awkwardly by Buster.
But he put it right in the sweet spot of that glove. I mean, that's the more miraculous thing about that effort. I mean, he comes up, stands up, puts it right in the perfect spot in his glove. Do that again.
Well, he was an infielder at college before they moved him to catcher. 2-1 now. Derek Law in his 22nd game, 21 innings, 20 hits, 1 home run.
All right, let's watch the block here from Buster Posey. Scud out in front of home plate. Yeah, well, you just kind of ride that horse and see where it's going. And if you're a catcher, when in doubt, protect yourself.
Perez at second, Jeanette at first. And well, he swung at it, and there's the first base umpire, Andy Fletcher. I don't know what Kerwin Danny was looking at.
No, I don't know either. I mean, he hits that thing. It's out of the ballpark to right field. That's full swing in the eyes of an old pitcher. I like Andy Fletcher, very enthusiastic about the strike call.
2-2 the count. Struck him out. 95-mile-an-hour gas. And he blew it by Ryan Braun. Not easy to do. 2 men stranded. Top of the order, Span, Paddock, Belt coming up for the Giants. Brewers 5 runs, 10 hits, and 1 error as we head to the last half of the 8th inning here at AT Park. And what's turned into a cool, windswept night in the ballpark by the shores of San Francisco Bay. The Warriors were beaten over at the Oracle Arena. And that NBA Finals is going to go to at least a Game 6. Draymond Green will be back for that one. But I don't think Andrew Bogut will be back for that one, the way it looked when he left the game tonight.
Did not look good.
Also across the bay, the Oakland Athletics beat the Texas Rangers 14-5 in their game, although the rookie pitcher Minaya left that game with a pronator muscle injury, with which they have to be very concerned. They did win that ball game, just clobbered the Texas Rangers. Bernard Span takes a strike. Span hit a home run into San Francisco Bay in the first inning. He beat out a bunt, starting a 2-run 3rd inning rally. Since then, has grounded out twice. He is 2 for 4 in the game. Joe Panik is on deck. Martinez, the 4th Milwaukee pitcher. 2-1. The guy who felt like he got dealt a bad hand tonight, I'm sure, was the Brewers' Blaine Boyer, who's had a pretty good year. That is a foul ball. The Giants had 2 down, nobody on, and Brandon Belt hit a pop-up that nobody could catch up to. It fell into left field for a single, and then Posey got an infield hit. Duffy got an infield hit. Bases loaded. Brandon Crawford hit a little bloop into shallow center.
Broke his bat.
2 runs scored.
It's just proof that you play this game long enough, some nights are just not going to be your night. And that was the case for Boyer. It hasn't happened to him very often this year.
That is a base hit into right center. The 3rd hit of the game for Denard Span. Well placed. Joe Panik has hit a long triple out toward the 421 marker in deep right center. That was in the 1st inning. Scored a run. He walked and scored a run in the 3rd. Has grounded a second and flied to shallow left. Since then, he's 1 for 3 officially. And a foul. Nine runs. It's been a while since the Giants scored 9 runs in a game, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a father that's very proud of his young son. Yep, that's a prize. They'll share that memory for a long time.
A ball and a strike. The last time the Giants scored as many as 9 runs, they got 10 runs in a game at Colorado back on May 28th. And they had to get 6 runs in the 8th inning to do that. They had to come from behind and win that game at Coors Field. 2-1. Giants have averaged about 4 1/4 runs per game this year. Pop fouling out of play.
Now their offense has been streaky. I mean, you think about how the offense started this year. I mean, they were just a juggernaut. They were scoring lots of runs every game. And they've lost some key people. And Hunter Pence hurts an offense when he goes out, no doubt. But they've got other guys who've sort of struggled with their average.
3-2.
In these last 12 games, they've really scuffled to put hits together. But not tonight. 12 hits so far for the Giants tonight.
And they've got a 9-5 lead. Brandon Belt is on deck. 3-2 the count. Martinez. There goes Span. And through the vacated second base spot. Jeanette, with a left-handed hitter up there, was the one who broke for second. The Span running, and that's right where Span hit the ball, and Panik hit the ball, and Span over to 3rd.
Well, they set the target away, which I think with his swing, you would think of the outside location, he might go to left field, which he so often will do, and that's why they had the second baseman take the assignment. Very frustrating for Martinez, and you understand why. I mean, he thought he made the pitch that was going to get him 2 outs. And that ball off the bat, before he even turned around, he's thinking double play, and now he's got nobody out and runners at 1st and 3rd.
And when a manager puts on the hit and run play, that's the reason. Takes one of those infielders out of position. Now Belt hits a high drive to center field. Flores in medium deep center. Tagging his Span, and he will score easily from 3rd. And the Giants are in double figures. It is 10-5. Brandon Belt gets his 2nd RBI of the game.
Another fly ball situation. He jumps on the first pitch. Saw Brandon Crawford do the same thing earlier in the game, jump on the first pitch and got the job done. So high fives all around back in the Giants dugout.
Belt, who's had 2 hits in 4 at-bats, now a sacrifice fly, his 33rd RBI. Posey, look out, that hit him. And I think it ricocheted off the umpire. Kerwin Danley was staggered. He's holding his head. There's Anthony Reyes, Giants trainer, to see if he could be of any assistance to Kerwin Danley.
All right, let's see where it, yeah, it gets Danley right in the head. So everybody was watching Posey as his two-seam fastball just sort of became a heat seeker, grazes off the tricep of his left arm. That goes right into the helmet of Danley, and he's seeing stars right now.
And you see Anthony Reyes looking right into the eyes of Kerwin Danley. So part of this, there's a protocol now in Major League Baseball, as we've learned more and more about concussions, where if there's any chance of a concussion, there's a little protocol of things you go through to see if there are any signs of concussion. And that includes with an umpire.
And they don't mess around. And they shouldn't. But this definitely a stinger. I always talk about it. You know, Lester Posey saw that ball coming into him, and he braced himself. Kerwin Danley did not. And when that hits you, especially in the head, I mean, you're relaxed, jars your head and your neck. It's a jolt.
Matt Duffy has had 2 hits and a sacrifice fly. It's called a strike. Duffy had an infield hit. He hit one so slowly on the left side of the infield. Third baseman Aaron Hill tried to barehand the ball, and even then might not have been able to get him, but he couldn't pick the ball up. 2 for 3 officially for the game. That's a base hit to left center, and he smoked that ball. Joe Panik around third. He'll score. Second run of the inning. It is 11-5 Giants. Posey stopping at second.
And that's a 3-hit night now for Matt Duffy, who continues to hit well here at AT&T. And has everybody dancing in the aisles.
So a 3-hit game for Duffy, and his second RBI of the game. And Brandon Crawford will come up.
Dan Mullen is the Giants hitting instructor next to Bruce Bochy, very happy. He's been waiting for a breakout night with the bats for the Giants. And tonight's tonight.
Brandon Crawford has knocked in 3 in this game. He's had 1 hit, a 2-run single, and a sacrifice fly. 94-mile-an-hour heat there from Jan Marinas. And the guy with the cheese head has had better nights at the ballpark than this one.
Yeah, he's not happy.
On 2. 1 out and 2 runs in.
How could you not give that guy a ball? I mean, come on. You think they have fun in the state of Wisconsin? Yes, they do. I mean, you go into some of those novelty stores in Wisconsin and you can get cheese heads, you can get baseball cap cheese heads, you can get cowboy hat cheese heads. You can get cheese bricks that you can throw at TVs if you're upset at the broadcasters during a Green Bay game.
Are those big sellers?
Oh, yeah. I've got 2.
It's a foul off the left field line.
They have braziers that are made of the same cheese material that the hat is made out of. They're quite popular.
Well, you're really doing a great job of promoting moving to Wisconsin. Scooter Gennett. They get one at second. Back to first. Double play. And the inning is over. Lucroy, Carter, and then the pitcher spot due up in the ninth inning for the Brewers. 11-5 Giants. Leading 11-5, and he will be working with a new catcher here in the ninth. Trevor Brown replaces Buster Posey. Back of the plate, the Giants with 11 runs on the board. There's Trevor Brown, the rookie catcher. 11 runs in the same game for the Giants. The last time they did anything like this was in April here at AT Park, just before they went to New York. They had a 13-run game against San Diego, which they won 13-9. Jonathan Lucroy leads off for the Brewers. He's 1 for 3 with a walk and a foul out of play off to the right. 11 runs, 14 hits for the Giants. 5 runs, 10 hits, and 1 error for the Brewers. Hunter Strickland, a right-hander, is up in the Giants bullpen just in case. That one is hit well, deep left center. Span on the run, off the wall, and Lucroy has a double. To that spot where just to the left where that ball hit, it's 404 feet from home plate to this place where the left field wall meets the center field wall. So that's a pretty good shot.
Well, I'm thinking when he's leaving the batter's box, he's figuring that's out of here. And about a third of the way up the wall, maybe a quarter of the way up the wall. Still, nice at bat. Hit that same ball in Milwaukee. You're surrounding the bases right now.
Milwaukee is an excellent home run hitter's ballpark. Big swing and a foul back to the screen by Chris Carter. Carter hit his first home run as a Brewer against the Giants in Milwaukee, and he hit it into right center field against Jeff Samardzija, the third game of the season. You were talking earlier in the game about how he's got power to all fields, and the Giants saw it that day. 1-1 now.
Yeah, the thing too about Carter, when you watch him swing the bat, he doesn't overswing. I mean, it's just real easy, and then boom.
He walked his first 2 plate appearances in this game. Since then has flied out to shallow right and struck out. He does strike out a lot. 95-mile-an-hour gas, and it's 1-2.
Don't panic. It's my 21st. Well, happy birthday.
The curveball bounced into the Giants dugout on the third base side. Here's Buster Posey grabbing his bats, his glove, his night over. And I don't think the fact that he got hit by the pitch had anything to do with him leaving the game. It's just, it's 11-5.
Yeah. He's been catching a lot, catching every inning.
Here's Blanco. He's got room. And that's the first out. Lucroy tags up and goes to third. The ball was hit well to right field by Carter. So with 1 out, Lucroy now at third, and here comes a pinch hitter. And this is Keon Broxton. Broxton's been in 18 games. He started 13 times in center field. He's been up between the majors and minors 3 different times. He's a pretty good bunter. His first major league hit was on a bunt. Matt Duffy, and he runs well, and he just got him at first. 2 down.
Yeah, he runs real well. And you figure he's coming from the right side, and he had to get unwound from a pretty big backswing.
Two down now, and here is Aaron Hill. He's had a single and a double in 4 trips. 2 for 4 game. And that's a strike. Runner at third, 2 down. The Giants ahead, 11-5. Albert Suarez is the guy who stands to win this game for the Giants in relief of Matt Cain, who just had 3 very long innings in a row. And finally, he was at 83 pitches in his first game back from the disabled list. They took him out in the 4th inning. Madison Bumgarner goes tomorrow for the Giants. Game will be seen on CSN Bay Area. Pregame live at 6:30. First pitch 7:15 tomorrow night. One and 2.
2-strike paralysis there. Derek Laws had a good fastball tonight. Right around 94, 95. That's one of the things that Mark Gardner is encouraging him to do is throw that fastball and believe in it. They believe.
Strike 3 called at 96 miles an hour. Inside corner. And the ball game is over. And the Giants take game 1 of this series and have now won 3 in a row and 4 of their last 5 here at home as they beat the Brewers 11-5. And it's a win for Albert Suarez, his 2nd of the year.
Well, I think after the last couple of games, the Giants hit a lot of balls hard that they got nothing for. And tonight, you know, balls were falling for him. And I think that if you're Bam Muellen's the Giants hitting instructor, you have to feel that this offense was due to have a game like this. Steve Decker, the assistant hitting coach, smiling. There's Deck. And, they grind hard. As you mentioned, the previous 12 games, this team has been hitting 192. And, they needed a night where they had some offense. So tonight was that night, and a nice win, the first game of the series. You have an emotional weekend when you play your rival, and it's a grind. And you got to crank it up the next night because you're playing a big league team that's coming in here and trying to beat you. Well, tonight the offense really kind of took charge of this ball game. It was nice to see.
Amy G, meanwhile, is standing by downstairs with Denard Span, who led off the game with a home run for the Giants. Amy?
Yeah, John was just saying you led off the game with a home run. It's a little more than that. It happened to be the first leadoff splash home run hit by a Giant at this park ever.
Ever?
Ever. Thoughts?
I don't know. I'm honored. I mean, there's been a lot of good players that have played here, and just feel honored to be the first in anything whenever you get an opportunity to do that. So definitely thankful to accomplish something like that.
That was good. That was good. Made history tonight. Collective effort, though, by the entire team offensively. And you guys were due for a game like this. After a couple of one-run games, the offense really busted open, and nice to see everyone contribute.
Yeah, there's no question. We were definitely due for a game like this. We've been battling our butts off. We've been hitting a lot of line drives and going back to the dugout with our heads down. But tonight we came out and, collectively, like you said, we were able to, string along a lot of hits and way overdue. So, hopefully we can just continue to build off this.
All right. Thank you, Denard Span. Congratulations on the win. And John and Mike, let's get it up to you.
All right. Thanks, Amy G. and Denard Span, who had a 3-hit game for the Giants and a lot of offense. Matt Cain, I guess, would be the guy who was disappointed coming back from the disabled list. But he just couldn't stay out of the beginning. And he had kind of a small strike zone, I think.
Well, he didn't have any favors with the strike zone. Kerwin Danley is one of the tighter strike zones around. But Matt Cain, he didn't want to go down and take a rehab start down in Sacramento. And basically he took his act out here after a long layoff. And he got a little rusty. And, it's definitely a game that he'll build upon. He got good arm strength out of us and whatnot. Be a little bit sore tomorrow. But, hey, they got a win, and they didn't have to use Santiago Casilla.
Tomorrow, Bumgarner. Wednesday afternoon, Cueto. The Giants have won 3 in a row. For more on tonight's game, tune into Sportsnet Central on CSN Bay Area. Tune into CSN Bay Area tomorrow at 6:30 for Giants pregame live for Game 2 of the series. We'll be back with you in 2 weeks for the Giants and the Athletics on the 27th at 7 o'clock. For Mike Krukow and Amy G, I'm John Miller saying good night from San Francisco. 11-5, the Giants win.